The Seminoles have arrived at Folsom Field. We are in Boulder, Colorado, a long way from Doak. It is the longest regular season road trip in a decade for Bobby Bowden's Seminoles. And moments earlier, Ralphie's run. All 1,200 pounds of Ralphie the Fourth. Colorado Buffaloes, their very first home game of the season.
84th season that Colorado's played here at Folsom Field. And we're delighted to be here along with Florida State.
Well, Ralphie is here for the Buffs, and as we join Tommy Block down on the sidelines, the Seminoles have a Brahma Bull of their own on the sidelines here tonight, Tommy.
One of the toughest guys you'll ever meet, according to linebacker Dakota Watson. I'm talking about defensive coordinator Mickey Andrews, who is here this week after missing a game last week for the first time in his 43-year coaching career. Mickey Andrews has been battling pneumonia, didn't make it back to work until Wednesday this week. His first day back at practice was Thursday. He watched from the tower. Tonight, he will be upstairs in the coach's booth. He has not called a game since his USFL days with the Arizona Wranglers in 1983 from upstairs in the coach's booth. But the best news is, fellas, that FSU's defensive coordinator, Mickey Andrews, is feeling well enough to be back tonight, and we certainly wish him well as he gets back to work. Paul?
Absolutely, Tommy. Worked for a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and George Allen when he was in Arizona, now a member of the National Football Foundation Hall of Fame. Bobby Bowden, his very first trip in a magnificent career, KJ, here to Boulder, Colorado.
28th state that Coach Bowden has actually been a head coach in a game. Dan Hawkins, as you see there, his record, his career record, very, very good. He came from Boise State. This is his second year here with the Buffaloes, and if anybody can turn this around, I think Dan Hawkins can.
Our Chevrolet keys to the game, Keith.
For Florida State, well, they got to remember that the game starts at 8:15 local time, not in the second half. FSU's got to come out quickly. They've got to be sound fundamentally on the defensive side. For Colorado, they've got to have success on first down, so they stay out of third and long situations, and they've got to win the special teams, punting and place kicking and kickoff returns, and you're going to see a great one in the kickoff return category for Colorado and Terrence Wheatley.
Ryan Cano. The ball in the air, and you think there's a difference in the altitude here?
The air's a little lighter, yes.
We're at 5,334 feet. That's the playing surface, all grass field here at Folsom Field. It is the very first time that a redshirt freshman named Cody Hawkins has come onto the field as the starting quarterback for the Buffs. He is, of course, the son of the head coach and Dan Hawkins. So far, a win and a loss, KJ. They opened with a victory at Colorado State over Sonny Lubbock's Rams. They played that in Vesco Field, won it in overtime, and then lost to Dennis Erickson at Arizona State in Tempe a week ago.
And when you talk about Cody Hawkins, you're talking about a winner. That loss at Arizona State, the first of his football career.
End around to the near side, and nothing brewing as the stop is made by Tony Carter, sweeping the near side. Josh Smith, a true freshman, a speedster from California with the first carry. Tyler Columbus, the most experienced offensive lineman, he's a senior. Wes Palazzi, Daniel Sanders, a junior. Devin Head, Edwin Harrison, number 76 on the right side from Houston. Charles and Samson Jagoras. Charles injured against Arizona State. Greer, the tight end. Patrick Williams, Scotty McKnight listed, but they start Josh Smith,
who, by the way, a Tallahassee native, born in Tallahassee, is Smith.
Went to high school out west. Inside handoff, running room, and a hole up to the 25-yard line. Derek Nicholson, Gino Hayes, two linebackers with their helmets in there. A gain of 7. Here is Florida State up front. Neefe Moffett off to a solid start, a couple of sacks. Doug Bud Thacker, Andre Fluellen, a team captain, less than 100%, and Alex Boston. There's Dakota Watson. Derek Nicholson, this team's leading tackler. And Gino Hayes, we're at number 10. Tony Carter with the stop early. Myron Roll, Roger Williams, and the fastest man in Folsom Field, the track All-American, Michael Ray Garvin.
And Fluellen is not in there on this particular play. You've got Dion as well as Bud Thacker in the tackle position.
Timeout taken facing third down, and the timeout burned by Colorado.
Colorado.
You know that man, don't you, Keith?
It's a 30-second timeout.
No question.
The referee, and this is an Atlantic Coast Conference crew tonight, is Ron Cherry, who of course worked Florida State's very first game of the season on the road in Death Valley in Clemson when Florida State fell 24-18. They won, rallied last week 34-24. That was at home in Doak, and now they travel here, Keith, 1,641 miles from Doak to Folsom Field, or about 25 hours of Tom Block is driving.
Don't you have to add another mile because we went up?
It's the highest elevation that a Florida State football team has ever played at. We saw the difference it made in Graham Gano's kickoff.
And if you've not ever been out to the west, and particularly the Denver and the Boulder area, very picturesque, extremely modern in all the things that they do, but yet there's a throwback to hospitality and graciousness that is quite remarkable.
Hospitality and graciousness synonymous with Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden, his very first victory at Florida State, and we're going back now 32 years, came against a Big 8 team then, the Big 8 becoming the Big 12, but his very first win in Garnet and Gold was against Kansas State back in '76. No. So the timeout taken. Tom Block is down on that sideline, a mile high. Tom, you saw the bomb off the foot of Graham Gano tonight. How do you think the Seminoles are going to approach this conditioning and preparing in this atmosphere? Are we making too much of it, or how did Bobby Bowden approach it?
Well, Bobby Bowden's approach was to not make a big deal of it. He said, hey, some of the players don't know. We won't tell them. Why give them something else to worry about? But having said that, the team did run more this week after practice, did a little more conditioning. They have more oxygen on the side of the field than they normally would. But I think for the most part, where you're going to see it be a big factor, Paul, is not so much in conditioning, but in the kickoffs and the kicking game like we just saw. I was talking to Scott Bentley, who is here, former FSU kicker, and we'll chat with him later. He said that on kickoffs and on field goals, you get an extra 5 to 10 yards easily. Also, hang time on kickoffs and punts. It's a huge difference here when you're a mile high, and he would know because he's from a suburb of Denver.
Yeah, he is. I've forgotten about that.
Aurora.
By the way, Colorado called a second timeout.
I've not seen that.
They have already used 2 of their 3, and again, it is a young team under a second-year head coach. And Hawkins now facing third down. Cody Hawkins is the quarterback. 3 receivers atop your screen. Hawkins to throw. Nice time and a shy of the first down marker. It's ruled down on contact at the 29-yard line. Gino Hayes wrapping up Crawford after the catch. And the Buffs are going to have to punt it out of there.
That's the first pass reception by Crawford. Trips to the left side of the offense, Florida State's right. They ran a drag route underneath, just about a yard short.
A Florida native, and Matt DeLallo following the Gino Hayes tackle. He's from Wellington, Florida. He's a freshman All-American here for Colorado a year ago. He'll be punting. Outstanding freshman campaign. And now kicks for the 10th time this year. A high snap. And this flutter's very short. Coming up, Parker. Preston Parker falling forward up to the 42-yard line, and the tackle was made by a Marquez Simons. 35-yard punt, 5-yard return, and now the offense on the field for the first time, Keith. And unlike the first 2 weeks for FSU, it would be great to get off to a strong start, put a touchdown on the board in the first quarter.
Well, and we talked about that in the Chevrolet Keys to the game. You see updated numbers there on Drew. Offensively, Florida State has got to come out and establish some tempo.
The tight end, Charlie Graham, shifts to the near side. A bubble here with Marcus Sims. Snap, muff, flag down. And that's not the best way to start this evening here in Boulder.
Offside. Defense number 86.
Well,
it's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
George Hippolyte, the defensive tackle, jumped. First flag of the night. Here's Florida State up front. A change. Rodney Hudson, the left guard, who started at Clemson, a true freshman, opens on the left side. Jackie Claude, in his 29th start, shifts over to the right side. The center, a freshman, McMahon, Anton Smith suffered a concussion last week against UAB. He is in the starting lineup tonight. Our lineup is presented by Checkers, and there's Anton. Nowhere to go. Bounced by Brandon Nicholas, the junior nose guard. Here are the Buffs dressed in all black tonight defensively. In fact, that was a loss of 1 for Anton. Maurice Lucas, Hippolyte, Nicholas, a transfer from Notre Dame, and Alonzo Barrett. Jordan Dyson, one of the top linebackers in all of college football. R.J. Brown in the middle. Brad Jones. Terrence Wheatland is an all-Big 12 corner. Close to the midfield stripe is Drew Weatherford. Dykes up to make the stop. It'll be 3rd and short.
Buffs come with pressure from the defense's right. That time Weatherford read it and just took off right up the middle, just a little bit short of the first down. It'll be 3rd, very short.
New package for FSU. The former starting center moved this, and this is senior season to tight end number 8. John Frady is in for Drew Weatherford. So 2 tight ends, powerhouse set, and they will not get the first down. On the carry, Marcus Sims dropped by Alonzo Barrett, the senior 3-year letterman.
Barrett aware of Florida State in that he grew up in Alabaster, Alabama. That's his hometown. He's going to snake right across, right behind an offensive lineman, get right on his tail, and go right to the ball carrier, bring down Sims.
In fact, that defensive front for Colorado made 2 stops in the Florida State backfield. Longest kick this year of 54. This one's short and off the right side of his foot. It bounds out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
But that's exactly what he wanted to do with it.
That'll be marked inside the 10, as a matter of fact, Keith. 9-yard line. So effective for Graham Gano. 41 yards without a return. And Colorado begins with its 2nd possession of the night for its head coach in Dan Hawkins. In his 2nd season, he had great years, did he not, in the Western Athletic Conference at Boise State. We are so familiar with Chris Peterson and that miraculous victory for Boise State last year over Oklahoma, but Dan Hawkins won the WAC 4 times in 5 years.
Had 3 seasons of 11-plus wins
in Boise, and thus gets this job. His son backed up inside his own 10, running straight ahead, and Thacker is there on 1st down.
Florida State's got to be very sound because Buffs will run a lot of motion, a lot of misdirection. They'll fake to that plunge or that fullback dive, and they can go either way with it. They run 3 and 4 and 5 wides, and 3 of their receivers, Paul, have rushing attempts, which tells you they try to get the ball in the hands of playmakers any way they can.
Opening possession also included 2 of Colorado's 3 timeouts. From the gun, coming to the near side, and in coverage is Tony Carter as the pass is caught by Patrick Williams, his first of the night.
That's what you're used to seeing Tony Carter do. He all over a receiver, bring him down short of a first down. But the first play of the game, Carter showed he can tackle a little too when he came up and made the stop. Out pattern, nothing fancy. Carter right there on it. Minimal pickup, 3rd down and about 5.
You throw that route in front of him, you're the quarterback, you better be sure it gets to your receiver. And Carter has taken 2 to the house, 3 career interceptions. All Atlantic Coast Conference corner here on the draw. Florida State read it perfectly. Andre Fluellen, his left elbow, Keith, is heavily wrapped tonight.
An injury that wasn't talked about much by Florida State's Sports Information Office and Odell Higgins, the defensive line coach, but somewhere along the week, Fluellen hyperextended or banged his elbow, and it is heavily taped, as you see Preston Parker in punt return. Great kick.
All the way back to the 37-yard line. Between the hashers and a flag thrown in.
My goodness, that flag was thrown 30 yards.
That'd be the best toss of the night. First quarter. A 48-yard punt. over on Cherry. This is only the second meeting in history between Florida State and Colorado. Back in 2003, the Seminoles were in the top 10, Keith. Colorado with Gary Barnett came to Tallahassee. Florida State rolled 47-7. And that afternoon, very warm day in Doak. This is a holding call against Bowden's Knolls.
That'll back Florida State up.
On the return, have number 21, holding. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
Patrick Robinson, guilty as charged.
Again, I remind our viewers as well as the 11 in gold helmets out there that wear white. Florida State offensively has got to establish some tempo.
Greg Carr starts in motion, play action for Drew. And he'll check out and find Anton Smith, who is hit as he reaches the midfield stripe. That's a first down for FSU. As we skip it on down to Tom, and last time we saw Anton, Tom, a week ago, he was suffering a concussion.
Well, and he didn't he practiced this week, but he didn't withstand contact. He was in a blue jersey. One of the changes he made, and he said he's had no hangover effect, no headaches. He's changed helmets. This is the Riddell Revolution helmet, which has been out since around 2002. What it does, it provides extra protection here in the jaw area, the face area. Research has shown lately that more concussions are sustained because of blows to the side of the face instead of the top of the head. And just to finish that thought, Paul, last week Anton did land right on his forehead, so this helmet might not have made a difference in terms of if he was wearing it last week. But the research does show that you're 31% less likely to sustain a concussion if you're wearing this helmet. As a result, Anton decided to go to it, and about half the Florida State team is now wearing the Revolution helmet. It's one of the changes you've seen this year for Florida State. Paul?
Well done, Tom, for the junior from Pahokee. Play action to him. Drew throws, moving the pocket. He was pressured. He got rid of it. Flag in.
Yeah,
behind Preston Parker.
Holding on Preston Parker. Colorado defender knew what was happening as he ran that behind the line of scrimmage route. He grabbed Parker and held him.
Terrence Wheatley was coming off the corner. KJ blitzing on the play. An eligible receiver against Florida State.
That is not good.
Moving an eligible receiver downfield on the pass, number 79. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. We'll replay the down.
Well, let Preston go back over to the sideline and get his shirt tail tucked back in.
Number 79 is David Overmeyer, the senior right tackle. Wilburn, Georgia. Rick Trickett's the offensive line coach that Bobby Bowden had turned and asked what happened there with Overmeyer. Florida State was flagged 13 times a week ago in a sluggish start against UAB. It's the second penalty already against the Noles. And there is Parker. He drops this one.
Well, that's not going to establish any tempo.
No, and it's third down. Parker is off to the best start, you'd have to say, Keith, of any Seminole offensively. So multi-dimensional. In fact, a terrific all-purpose night against UAB last Saturday in Doak.
Well, Preston's averaging about 123 yards, all-purpose yards per contest. Number one on the team with 8 receptions through the first 2 games.
Punts. Running the ball on the end around. And usually sure-handed from midfield. Rutherford flushed. Out of the pocket. He dumps it incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Brad Jones was the linebacker draped on Drew.
The home-standing crowd would like intentional grounding, but remember the college rule. Once you're outside of the tackle box, and as long as you throw the ball past the line of scrimmage, then intentional grounding cannot be called.
Graham Gano will come on for a 3rd time. His last punt of 41 yards. Off goes Jones, the junior from East Lansing. Jones' dad, by the way, played football. Indiana, was a linebacker there for Lee Corso. This one bounds at the 5. Can the Seminoles get there? Can't quite save it. Try as he might. Ball was flying down the field and couldn't quite get his hand on
Nice
it.
job by Chase McBride to kind of decoy, because Ball had a chance if he hadn't stutter stepped to get to that ball, but McBride faked the fair catch. That held Marcus up just a little bit.
Midway through the first quarter, and Florida State still without points on the board. And Seminole fans, you can stop by any SunTrust branch and learn how to get $100 for your favorite charity, or a $50 gift card to keep for your very own cause, only at SunTrust. Paul Kennedy, Keith Jones, Tom Block on the sidelines. Midway through our opening quarter, Florida State's first trip in history here to Folsom Field. Last 20 years, the Buffaloes, regardless of the head coach, Keith, have played well in the very first game.
Oh, they really have.
Won 16 out of 19. Lost only 3 times in 20 years in their first game of the year here in Folsom. The pitch, one line, and Florida State stuffed that. 18-yard line. There was Myron Roll up to make the initial hit.
When you think of Colorado, Paul, you think of the ground game. And certainly this edition of the Buffalo squad, a little bit, not much different. But Florida State well prepared for this ground attack, and a lot of white jerseys around the football.
Ryan Lockridge, a freshman, with the carry. The tight end Rayar Greer shifts to the near side. Hawkins throws, and about a yard.
That's a nice job by a defensive end. Look who that is.
On Rayar Greer.
Jody Allen doesn't ask, and Mickey Andrews don't ask for their defensive ends to do this type of thing very often, but you saw some great athleticism. Watch Neefy right here, lined up in the defensive end position, and when that guy releases, he goes right with him. That is a great, great play by a big, big man.
Neefy, to the start of this his junior year, has recorded 4 tackles for a loss and owns 2 of FSU's 3 sacks so far entering this the 3rd week. Hawkins on the edge has the first down. Tyson DeVray, the senior tight end, makes the first down grab.
DeVray had 1 catch in the first 2 ball games that Colorado played. It went for a touchdown. One of 2 buffs that have already graduated is DeVray. His degree is in ethnic studies. That good for a first down.
And Cody Hawkins is 4 for 4 through the air as they work the left side up to the 36-yard line.
And the fans are not booing. They are hollering Hughes, Hughes.
That's Hugh Charles, a senior, much like Anton Smith, injured last week. The standout suffered a hamstring pull on the 3rd play at Arizona State. That's where Dennis Erickson's coaching now. Erickson's Sun Devils won that game 33-14. Charles did not return until tonight. 3 carries, a dozen yards so far. Hawkins had time to allow Williams to clear. First down to midfield.
Nice move.
And into Seminole territory on a gain of 15. That underneath control passing game and giving Hawkins time, Keith, he's hit all 5 attempts.
Well, he lines up way over here to the right and comes all the way across right at the line of scrimmage. And Hawkins gets the ball out to him, and watch him tightrope right here on the sideline. Nice block downfield by Demetrius Sumler to spring him for a few more yards.
Last week against Erickson in Arizona State, the Buffs dropped the ball. Hawkins struggled, and they have worked on ball security, catching passes as simple as that sounds throughout the week. Second effort here.
And again, Florida State suffering from some poor tackling, giving the ball carrier extra yardage on second effort. Good effort by Charles. The squad, Paul, that didn't get to practice Wednesday, and though we're already into the season, FSU went 2-a-days on Thursday. They practiced, they were on the field at 5:30 a.m. Thursday morning, and again about 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoon.
Well, you have played the game. To tackle, you have to practice tackling.
You have to practice. It's like putting. If you're a golfer and you don't practice your putting, that's the first thing that goes.
And up to the near side, Stephon Robinson.
Nice job by Thacker. You know, Florida State's defensive linemen with Llewellyn and Thacker and Guion, very, very fast to be as big as they are. There's Bud right there. Watch him find the football and then work right down the line of scrimmage. He doesn't get any more depth, so you don't want to get any more depth because that increases the distance. You want to get into that backfield, make a hard left-hand turn, and run parallel.
Dad was named Doug. He's a junior, and that's the handle Bud. I've got a finger poked in that eye. Dad was a very good football player at Virginia Tech. Third down here. Low snap. Hawkins waits again, and it's another first down.
And Florida State going with a lot of, looks like, zone coverage, and the Buffs doing a great job. Offensive coordinator Mark Helfrich's doing a great job of utilizing those crossing patterns.
This is Dusty Sprague with his first grab tonight.
And again, everything will be moving this way. And Florida State can't catch up to it from behind, in front of Geno Hayes. Nice delivery by Hawkins. Nice catch by Sprague, and enough for the first down. Buffalo with back-to-back, the Buffs with back-to-back first downs in this drive.
You see, he's 6 for 6 to 6 different receivers. How about that? And the march continues. Thinking deep, and he has time to go deep. And there's his first incompletion. Working on the far side for Josh Smith, who lived with his sister in California after moving from Tallahassee. And this is his very first game at the college level, but he went public in the local media saying that he somewhat resented the fact that Florida State didn't recruit him, even though he was on the West Coast, Keith, for he'd grown up, as you said, in Tallahassee.
And he suffered from a bruised kidney. That's the reason why he's just now seeing his first action in this, the third game. But they consider him a game changer or a game breaker, Josh Smith.
He's a track star. Florida State fans can relate to that. He was an outstanding track performer. And moving the pile about 7-8 yards. Tom, we've talked about the struggles for Colorado a week ago, holding on to the ball, and a kid from Tallahassee and Josh Smith who has an impact early.
Well, yeah, and he's nicknamed Jay Fly, so you hit the nail on the head. He is a deep threat they haven't had maybe since Jeremy Bloom, but the receivers had a problem dropping the ball last week, and the receivers coach for Colorado is Eric Esau. He had his players come in on Monday. He was so upset. He made his receivers write an essay on what went wrong against Arizona State. So they all had to do homework. They had to write essays, and the common theme was just a lack of focus. So far tonight, that focus appears to be there.
I will not drop the ball. I will not drop the ball. There goes Scotty McKnight. Tried to trap behind him, and Florida State balls it off right at the line of scrimmage. That was the 11th play of this prolonged march.
And it was also a third down play, which brings up fourth down and a decision for Dan Hawkins.
His field goal kicker is Kevin Eberhardt, a senior whose longest this year is of 38. But as well as this has been going early for Hawkins and the Buffs, he's going to go for it. You'd make the same call too, wouldn't you? Huh?
This would be about a 53, 54-yard attempt. I think I would go for the field goal.
His son is rolling and throwing, and the catch is made. First down to the 24-yard line.
And that's why I'm a broadcaster and not a coach, right?
A pickup of 13 yards. First down, Buffaloes to Hugh Charles.
Well, with Charles out with that hamstring and Josh Smith out with the bruised kidney, Dan Hawkins, who you see there, hasn't had the offensive weapons against Colorado State and Arizona State. Well, he's got them tonight, and he's using them. Nice job by Hawkins, the son, to get the ball outside to Charles.
So the march continues. The 13th play. And movement, Tyler Columbus, the left tackle, number 77, Rock.
False start, 77 offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's your first down.
Tyler's a legacy here, Keith. His dad was a wide receiver at Colorado.
And Columbus, the redshirt senior, is the offensive captain. As you mentioned, that left tackle position, which is key for right-handed throwing quarterbacks. Yeah, that's right. 6'8", 300.
About as big as the Flatirons. The Rockies right behind us. This stadium located where the Rocky Mountains meet the Great Plains. Rockies just outside the south end zone. This campus stands. Hawkins bobbled, and the big hit, pelting it down incomplete. Broken up by Dakota Watson, who blasted Jagoras.
And you can see early on, again, offensive coordinator Mark Helfrich, a Florida State defense is crossing patterns. And that's what football sounds like. And this misdirection on the naked boot.
Should have caught it. Jagoras, who has yet to touch the ball, well, until then this year. Big hit by Watson. Doesn't have a carry or a catch. Sprague goes in motion. He has a grab in this drive. 14th play now. Big hit again. And it's Dakota Watson. A year ago, only Myron Roll made more tackles among the freshman class for Bobby Bowden. And Dakota Watson, in this his sophomore year, has hit everything that moves.
23 tackles last year and that limited playing time, much like we saw Thacker on an earlier play. He gets to the line of scrimmage, and then instead of getting more depth in the backfield, he turns and runs parallel to the line of scrimmage to close on the ball carrier.
We only have a minute and 21 seconds, as you see on our Sun Sports stripe here. This is the 15th play, Keith. 15 plays for Hawkins and the Noles. Force them to stall on third down, as if to set up a screen. And now unloading to the 21-yard line. Not nearly enough for the first down. Gino Hayes latches onto Jagoras. That's his first catch. So they go back to that similar play that he dropped.
A lot of crossing patterns, a lot of bootleg. They take advantage of the misdirection and try to get Florida State's quickness to be a negative. And this will put the ball right at the 20.5-yard line in perfect shape for a field goal attempt.
Kevin Eberhardt was around when Colorado played in Doak back in 2003. He kicked the game-winning field goal in overtime to beat Colorado State, and he misses here. Misfires from 38. How about that? A 15-play drive, add one more for the kick. Nothing to show. That's some encouragement from his head coach. College football on Sun Sports from the Rocky Mountains is brought to you by your Southern Chevy dealers. Visit Chevy.com to find out why Chevy Silverado is the 2007 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. And by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. And by Men's Warehouse. You're going to like the way you look. Head on up into the Rockies, Keith. You'll see some snow year-round, won't you?
If you head up there. I kind of like things under 6,000 square feet or 6,000 feet of elevation.
There are about 5,000 Seminole fans that have made this very long trip. Longest regular season game in a decade for the Noles. Out west, many staying an extra day or two. You know, Tommy and his wife Laura are going to take in some of the sights tomorrow around here.
And there are plenty of sights. It is beautiful.
It's spectacular. Let's see if the Noles can get that offense going. Nowhere for Anton, though. He'll lose yards once again. Dropped for a loss of about 3. Jordan Dizon, number 44, along with Jeff Smart, number 45, are both there. Keith, is this more of the same at Clemson on opening night? The Noles trailed 21-0. And then it was 10-0 in the first quarter at home against UAB in week 2.
Well, yes, but fortunately, Colorado has missed on their one and only scoring attempt.
All right. And for Florida State, just one field goal so far now in 3 first quarters in 3 weeks so far this year. A moon over Colorado. The Noles are here. Ralphie 2, quarter number 2, just ahead. Primetime Noles on Sun Sports.
Rod Shrimp.
The bright lights of Boulder. We're at Folsom Field for our second quarter of primetime Noles. Florida State and Colorado scoreless. Keith Jones, Paul Kennedy, Tom Block on the sidelines. Hey, Tom, the Buffs go on a 15-play drive, miss a field goal, or the Noles, more likely than not, would be trailing here in what was another sluggish first quarter offensively.
Well, and it's a problem that's becoming a habit. It's 6 straight games, if you go back to last year, that Florida State has trailed at the half. This is what they've done this year. Outscored in the first half 41-6, and then have closed strong in the second half 46-7. But that's a trend that's got to be reversed. You have to go to November 4th of last year when FSU shut out Virginia. That's the last time they actually led at halftime. And the only time they've scored first in their last 6 games was against UCLA in the bowl game. They led 7-zip, but promptly fell behind 20-10. So it's not as if this problem just began this year, and it's a matter of Jimbo Fisher and the new coaches trying to break that habit here starting in game 3 of this season.
And Tommy, I would think a lot of it is mental. The kids knowing they've got to come out of the chute at the top of their game and not work themselves into the ball game.
I think that's a big part of it. Jimbo Fisher has talked about it, that you don't make drastic changes overnight. It takes time, and that's what he's working on. It's just been 2 games really of the Jimbo Fisher era. It's a work in progress. And you can probably say that it'll be a work in progress all season long for this offense.
His quarterback from a year ago, Jamarcus Russell, is in town. There is Jimbo. The Oakland Raiders play tomorrow against homestanding Denver. And those Seminoles in the NFL in the stadium here tonight. Incomplete. Under pressure, dumping it. Drew with only 1 completed pass so far. Anton Smith has all of 1 rushing yard, Keith, as we enter period number 2.
Well, right now, Ron Collins, the defensive coordinator for Colorado, has got to be very well pleased with how his defense has performed. That time they came after Florida State man coverage, and probably a little bit of a blessing that Smith dropped that ball and didn't receive it, because he would have been tackled for a loss.
Drew marking tonight his 26th start in this his junior year. Keeps the ball and is cut down at the 23-yard line on 3rd down. May have gained 4.5, 5 yards. But Jordan Dizon, the senior from Kauai, Hawaii, the 3rd leading tackler in terms of career numbers in all of college football. A 4-year starter here, made the solid stop.
319 tackles coming in for tonight for Dizon.
How about that, huh? He had 22 on opening night. Oh, very, very, very high. And from the 22-yard line, Chase McBride cuts to his right. That wasn't a wise thing to do.
Nice coverage.
A 54-yard punt by Graham Gano. That equals his career best for the junior from Pensacola. Colorado owns the football when we return. He just did get that off. Buckley called for the fair catch. No, he did not. He feigned everybody. There he goes. Goodbye. What a fake by Buckley. Oh my. He did not call for the fair catch and returns it 69 yards. He just stopped as if he did. T-Buck, that's how you win on the road, our 20th year. A great moment here, Keith. Goodbye. I heard you there in the dome at Syracuse.
My voice even sounded thinner.
T-Buck's on the sidelines. I think we had a shot of him. Just one of the great players in the history of Florida State.
The Fula from Pascagoula. You see a Florida State sideline again, as we've documented for the 3rd consecutive game. Not a lot of energy over there, Paul.
A very late start. They're going to go in here. Atypical for Florida State. On the roll, Hawkins, who has been superb. To the 29-yard line, the catch is made by Ryar Greer, the sophomore. A week ago, Cody Hawkins, Keith, how things can change in a week, had twice as many drops and incompletions as completions. He was 17 of 47 against Arizona State. 30 incomplete passes. They wanted to throw shorter, more high percentage passes and give him a chance
and
to get it
you
going.
see there, he has done just that, completing well over 80% of his throws. Not a lot of yardage, but very effective so far.
Able to get through Thacker is Demetrius Sumler, the freshman running back who took over last week for Hugh Charles. Derek Nicholson finishes up the play. The majority of the ground game in the first couple of weeks for Colorado in this 1-1 start has been off the shoulders of Sumler and Charles.
And Sumler, very respectable numbers. 32 carries, averaged right at 3.7. Had a touchdown, can catch the ball out of the backfield, can Sumler. Very, very good productivity from what is the equivalent of your number 2 tailback.
The gun snap to Hawkins. Throws it out to Charles, and he's buried at the 30-yard line. Tagged and knocked down. Patrick Robinson.
Corners don't get the opportunity for a receiver to actually have their back and focus away from them like the safeties do. But this time, Robinson set up nicely. Charles has to look back to the ball. He's going to go in motion right here and then look back for the football, and he doesn't even see Robinson coming.
A loss on the play of 3. Back to the 32-yard line. In motion, Robinson, Stephon Robinson, as they show the end around, and they'll work inside, running right at LaTroy Guyon. We had made mention earlier of Andre Fluellen being less than 100%. Guyon's on now for Fluellen, the tackle position.
And you don't lose a whole lot other than Fluellen's experience. Guyon, the junior, Andre, the 5th-year senior.
And he comes out. Florida State will go with a 3-down lineman. Thacker becomes the nose guard on 3rd and long.
That's 6 defensive backs in.
Everett Brown. Knowles show blitz. Ball not coming. Hawkins throws deep down the boundary, and it's picked off by Tony Carter. Carter with interference to midfield and out of bounds. The first turnover of the night goes Florida State's way as Carter brings it back 20 yards.
Career interception number 4 for Tony, and as you alluded to earlier in the first quarter, he had 3 prior picks, 2 of them being returned for touchdowns. So anytime number 4 gets his paws on the ball, very nearly steps out of bounds right there, but comes across, finds the football, and heads back the other way.
Very first interception of the season for Carter and the Seminoles.
No one covers college football like Sun Sports. Start your weekend off with live analysis and previews of the weekend's upcoming games on Rec Warehouse College Kickoff. Friday at 7, only on Sun Sports.
FSM presents the Wrangler Pro Rodeo Tour Area Playoffs. Professional rodeo's first ever postseason continues. The world's toughest cowboys knock heads over 14 grueling weeks for a shot at the championship crown and a share of a $1.6 million purse. Who will answer the bell? The Wrangler Pro Rodeo Tour Area Playoffs continue Thursday on FSN.
This week on the best damn sports show, period. Wednesday, the Stray Train, Michael Strahan, collides with Pro Bowl linebacker Ray Lewis. Thursday, our most astonishing, stunning, and surprising countdown yet.
Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez.
That's awful.
It's the top 50 most shocking moments in sports. Friday, owner of the Mavericks, Mark Cuban, and Denver Nuggets, Allen Iverson. This week at 11.
No one covers college football like Sun Sports. Join Whit Watson and the rest of the guys for energetic debate and Monday evening quarterbacking on Tailgate Overtime presented by AT&T. Tonight at 7, only on Sun Sports.
First 3 weeks of the 2007 season, Florida State fans and players have seen 3 of the greatest spectacles in college football. Clemson touching Howard's Rock and racing down the hill. Of course, at home games in Tallahassee, Osceola and Renegade. That's the one FSU fans will tell you is the best. What about here in Colorado? Ralphie, all 1,250 pounds of her, makes the lap to lead the Colorado Buffaloes out on the field. No question. I guess you could argue either way depending on which way your allegiance lies, but it's definitely 3 of the best traditions we've seen as we welcome you back here to Boulder, Colorado. Been a good start in terms of the tradition that Florida State has seen. It wasn't always smooth sailing, though, Paul and Keith, for Ralphie. This tradition
back in Keith's day here.
Yeah, this started in 1967 here, but it was a little rough out of the gate, literally. when they first had the idea to bring Ralphie out.
It's the hat, Tom. He didn't like the hat.
I'm not sure whose idea it was to get Ralphie to run out through the banner to lead the team out too, which we see some of that right here. But they've ironed out the kinks. To say, look at this.
I ain't going through there.
The kink should be 3 members of the band. Goodness gracious.
Certainly great traditions, all of them.
The play was under review as to where the ball should be marked, and it's spotted by Ron Cherry's team back at the midfield stripe. So, dances with wolves. What did they call a buffalo? Is it Tatonga, right?
Sir.
Tatonga. Tatonga here. Drew Weatherford just 1 completion. That was the one to Anton Smith out of the backfield.
Florida State with just 22 yards in the first quarter.
Well, the reverse of Preston Parker. He bobbled it, still has it. And to the 36-yard line.
See, Paul, Florida State hands that off. I would prefer that they actually lateral that ball. In other words, let the ball get up in the air. Hand it off to the tailback and let him flip it to the receiver coming around. Here's the look of it. Inside out. Now flip it to him. Don't hand it to him. That way it's more like a pass, which the wide receiver is more accustomed to catching.
That was only the second. The last possession. Weatherford got it away, throwing down, and in and out of the hands of Dakota Fad. It would have been a heck of a catch.
But it is a catch that should have been made, and that has been the problem Dakota has had all camp and here through the first 3 ball games.
Well, you know, you feel for him, you're pulling for him, the commitment that he has shown this program. He has had the knee injury when he was a freshman. He's almost 23 years old. He's given so much to the program, and right now,
it's confidence.
You think it's been a sluggish senior year.
You cannot fault his effort. You cannot fault his dedication, but he has no confidence in his ability to go out and get the football right now.
Drew changes the play at the line of scrimmage, and Anton runs through a gaping hole that Drew read, and he's going for 6. 6 for number 6, and the Seminoles have struck for a touchdown.
Great job by Drew Weatherford and excellent execution by Florida State's offensive line.
36 yards, Anton Smith.
Nothing fancy, but Weatherford checked appropriately at line of scrimmage, got his unit in the best possible shape with the best possible play, and everybody executed.
Extra point out of the hold of Brent Mooney is good as gold that you'll find in them our hills here. Anton Smith back with that new look helmet and rolling for 36, the junior. And it's Florida State 7-0 in Boulder.
It's the Chevy Model Year-End event, and we've just extended the best offer ever on the all-new Silverado Crew Cab. 0% APR for 60 months on Silverado half-ton crew cabs for well-qualified buyers. Just click and go to Chevy.com to find the one you want, then get to your Chevy dealer. That's right, we've just extended 0% APR for 60 months on Silverado Crew Cab. Click on Chevy.com, then see your Southern Chevy dealer.
Why do we call them steak burgers? Because we can.
When people ask me for a recommendation, I suggest a chocolate hand-dipped milkshake. And when people ask me for a recommendation, I suggest a vanilla hand-dipped milkshake. The side-by-side milkshake. Any 2 of your favorite milkshakes together in one glass.
Steak and Shake, where you can get side-by-side milkshakes.
Thank you.
You could save with Geico Motorcycle Insurance. Enough for a night out with your special someone. Geico Motorcycle. Let's ride.
College football from Folsom Field is brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue. Nothing beats the slow smoke taste of Sonny's Barbecue. Sonny's serving up feel-good barbecue since 1968. I wonder if that includes Buffalo. Advance Auto Parts. We're ready in advance at Advance Auto Parts. And by Bluebell, celebrating their 100th anniversary this year. Pick up their newest flavor, Century Sundae. Buffaloes of Colorado. In 1876, Colorado granted statehood. And that was the very same year the University of Colorado at Boulder opened. Anton Smith has the very first touchdown registered by an FSU team here, and that is Jimbo Fisher, who said in this day and age, KJ, when Drew Weatherford or any quarterback goes to the line of scrimmage, you're going to be changing at the line or making a significant check better than 3/4 of the time.
Well, and a lot of the times they will go to the line of scrimmage with 2 or 3 plays. In other words, a play has not been definitively called in the huddle or has not been signaled in. There's 2 or 3, and he makes the decision, does Weatherford in this case, at the line of scrimmage.
And what would he have seen that would create that opportunity, a weak side opportunity?
He wants to find the strong side linebacker and the strong safety. Because as we've documented, safeties tell the truth, corners lie.
Really? Is that a rule of thumb?
That's an axiom of the way football is. Corners are always trying to disguise. Safeties have to get where they need to be.
Graham Gano is punishing this football. That's his second one out of the end zone. I mean, if he's over at Coors Field, he has 2 home runs tonight and that 54-yard punt. Don't tell him there's no difference when you take away the humidity and play a mile high. It all began with Tony Carter picking the pass off and Anton Smith capping the run.
Welcome back to Colorado. Florida State with a 7-0 lead. We're going to illustrate this play right here for you. When he came to the line of scrimmage, Weatherford sees the overset to the defense's left. He checks out of it. Keep your eye right there. Boatman is what makes this play go. By sealing the linebacker, that allows Smith the opportunity to get outside and score.
Shannon Boatman did not start tonight either, Keith. Here's Todrick Verdell for FSU with the hit on Lockridge, freshman running back. He did not start at the guard spot on the right side. It's Jackie Claude. From Beaumont, Texas. He is, in fact, was recruited by both Nebraska and Texas Tech, 2 of the members of the Big 12. Colorado is a member of that league as well, of course. Did you see him in red? See him in red. Big Cornhusker. Greer. More of a controlled passing attack here to find him in the flat. Derek Nicholson along with Verdell over there. Derek Nicholson, coming back from his ACL surgery that cost him last year, he has dropped so much body fat, Keith, and says he's significantly faster this year in being able to make plays like we just saw.
Well, and he's just now getting back into the flow because he wasn't able to practice in the spring and he had limited contact during fall camp. So, you know, he's just getting back to being a football player.
Todd Stroud, the conditioning coach, working so diligently with him. And Tony Carter cut down Ryer Greer and hit him right at the knee, and Greer is shaken up.
Well, Greer goes about 255, 260. Tony Carter, 175 on a good day with rocks in his pockets. And when you get a big guy like that, you got to go low. And I think Greer got turned around a little bit, and it'll look like a cheap shot when really it's not. Be coming right at you. Delivers the ball. Watch Carter go low and just spins that leg around. Hits on that left leg, spins around on the right. But that's what you've got to do when you're giving up 75, 80 pounds.
Ryer Greer had a phenomenal freshman year, one of the leading receivers for Colorado. Shaken up here is Miguel Herrera, and the training staff and the head coach, Sharon.
Good things happen when you open a SunTrust checking account. You get more than great checking, you get a chance to help the community. For a limited time, just open a SunTrust checking account, accept and make a purchase with your new check card, and we'll donate $100 in your name to the charity of your choice. Or you can get a $50 gift card to keep for your own cause. So, how will you help your community? Visit your local SunTrust branch today.
Hey, can we get right double scat right Indy Z4 X check with me?
Hey, how about some bagels?
This week on the best damn sports show, period. Wednesday, the Stray Train, Michael Strahan, collides with Pro Bowl linebacker Ray Lewis. Thursday, our most astonishing, stunning, and surprising countdown yet.
Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez.
That's awful.
It's the top 50 most shocking moments in sports. Friday, owner of the Mavericks, Mark Cuban, and Denver Nuggets, Allen Iverson. This week at 11.
No one covers college football like Sun Sports. Start your weekend off with live analysis and previews of the weekend's upcoming games on Rec Warehouse College Kickoff. Friday at 7, only on Sun Sports.
87, Ryar Greer, and he ran off the sideline while we were away and went immediately to the exercise bike. And he's got a smile on his face, and that's a good sign.
One of the rule changes for 2007 is after a TV timeout, play clock starts at 15, not at 25, in an effort to try to continue the process of speeding up the 3 hour and 15, 3 hour and 10 minute elapsed time that most ball games take. So you'll notice that before the ball is put in play, both teams are out there over the ball and ready to go.
Matt DeLillo is ready to go, facing a team, the sophomore from his native state. He again from Wellington High School. Equaled his career best with a 48-yard punt earlier. Parker backpedaling here to his 20. He'll head to the sideline, make one miss, two miss. Here it comes up the hash. He has that gift. He sees it.
Well, he has the gift, he has the vision and the ability to look upfield, but he's got the God-given speed and quickness to go with it. And the first thing we've got to tell him to do is back up about 10 more yards so that he doesn't have to backpedal to get to the ball.
That was a 53-yard punt, by the way.
Good upfield vision, and again, great speed and great quickness.
Brought it back 16. Everything he's doing well. He was an option quarterback, Keith, in high school. This is his first year doing this kind of stuff. Playing receiver, really, in a regular role, returning kicks. And time worked over. So he's making major strides as Parker and giving Florida State fine field position. 8.5 to go here in the first half, and the Noles leading on Smith's touchdown gallop.
And Florida State needs to put together a drive here. They took advantage of that Tony Carter interception and a big run by Antone Smith, but they've not put together very many back-to-back first downs, driving the ball. Time of possession greatly in Colorado's favor.
You see the bubble atop your screen, 3 receivers there. Now shifting, that's Marcus Sims. They throw the slant to Cody Fagg. Latches onto it right at midfield, and the whistles come. He's not down yet.
And that'll give you an idea of the size and the strength of Cody Fagg. And again, going back to that pass that he very nearly pulled in that might have been a score. All the hard work, everything he's done, great inside release. Drew finds him quickly. It's all about confidence, particularly if you've been in the program as long as Dakota has. Nothing wrong with his work ethic, nothing wrong with his effort. He just needs some confidence in order to bring that ball in and improve upon those numbers.
Well, the 18th consecutive game in which he has played and caught a pass for Dakota Fagg. And if you saw that he was in man coverage, he was working against one of the best in the corner, Terrence Wheatley. More on that matchup when we return to Boulder, Colorado.
It's the Chevy Model Year End event, and we've just extended the best offer ever on the all-new Silverado Crew Cab. 0% APR for 60 months on Silverado half-ton crew cabs for well-qualified buyers. Just click and go to Chevy.com to find the one you want, then get to your Chevy dealer. That's right, we've just extended 0% APR for 60 months on Silverado Crew Cab.
Click on Chevy.com.
then see your Southern Chevy dealer.
For 57 years, Eddie Robinson served as head coach for Grambling State University, winning an unprecedented 408 games.
Not only was Eddie Robinson a great coach, but he is also a great man and a great American.
We've joined the Friends of Eddie Robinson Museum to create a landmark that honors and continues his legacy.
Please join us in saluting Coach Robinson by dialing 866-WINS-408 or logging into www.robinsonmuseum.com.
This week on the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Wednesday, the Stray Train, Michael Strahan, collides with Pro Bowl linebacker Ray Lewis. Thursday, our most astonishing, stunning, and surprising countdown yet.
Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez.
That's awful.
It's the top 50 most shocking moments in sports. Friday, owner of the Mavericks, Mark Cuban, and Denver Nuggets, Allen Iverson. This week at 11.
Anton Smith, a 36-yard touchdown. John Sismacia, the extra point. 7-0 here with 7:46 remaining in the first half. Single game football tickets are going fast for Bobby Bowden and the Seminoles home games this season. Make sure you're at Doak when the Noles return home the first week of October to host NC State. Duke and Maryland will come a-calling too. All you have to do is log on to the World Wide Web, Seminoles.com, or call 1-888-FSU-NOLES. Drew Weatherford tonight may be dialing the name of Dakota Fagg more than one occasion. The best corner, one of the best in all the Big 12, as voted by the coaches, is Terrence Wheatley, number 26, and he is in man coverage once again, KJ, against the larger Dakota Fagg at the bottom of your screen. And motion along the line of scrimmage, and that looks to be Jackie Claw.
Prior to the snap, false start, 68, offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. We played it down.
Senior from Miami, moved. Mad at himself, huh?
Well, he's got 28 career starts, does Claude. So he's seen plenty of action for that man right there, Bobby Bowden.
Third penalty of this game. Noles had a couple early, settle down. Need to reach the 37. Drew goes to work. Chased and throws, and coming back for it is Fagg with Wheatley right on his tail.
And again, a great job by Dakota to concentrate on catching the football. Once Weatherford is outside of that pocket, you've got to come back for the football. Watch him take the inside route. He's going upfield. Now, when he sees the quarterback in a hurry, he's got to come back to the quarterback and come back to the line of scrimmage. Great job by Fagg and a good job by Weatherford to find him.
That is the third completion for Drew. Goes for a first down, gain of 16. And there's Sims. Marcus running like a fullback, isn't he?
Until he gets in the open field. He's got more speed than most fullbacks you'll see.
His dad, Ernie Sims Sr., played for Bobby Bowden. His brother, Ernie Sims Jr., was a linebacker for Bobby Bowden. Last week, Marcus, for the first time in his career, found the end zone. So he extends the Sims legacy. Have not all three members of the Sims household that have put on that speared helmet scored for Bobby Bowden? There you go.
By our account,
Timeout on the field.
Ain't that great? And Mom's a track All-American. And Ernie's the captain of the Detroit Lions defense.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
And Ernie Jr. is in the ball. You called him senior and junior. It's actually junior in the third. But Big Ernie, as we'll call him, is in the house, as they say.
And Marcus Sims took it to the house last week. His first touchdown for the sophomore. It's good to see. And the Noles also ran him out of the tailback position in a goal line opportunity. So does he have the speed to play back there?
He's got adequate speed to play at the tailback position, but he's so big and so strong that Florida State likes to use him as an H-back, likes to use him as a fullback. And he's a load. Haven't seen a lot of Charlie Graham there, number 45. He actually pulled a hamstring in one of the Thursday workouts.
And that's the only tight end with experience. Taz Porowski been moved to offensive tackle, like began this night wearing a tight end number. Then he might have to go back to his tight end position. They throw the slip inside, and there goes Parker to the 16-yard line. Preston Parker, first down FSU. The stop made by Ryan Walters, but not before they connect for 17 more.
Parker's going to come in motion. He's going to set up here on the outside, and he's going to wiggle his way in here. You can't, it's a little bit out of your screen, but watch the tight end there, Doby. He's going to run off, and that pulls the linebacker out of the way, and that allows Parker to get in behind him.
Consecutive completions of 17 yards, and the Noles now threatening again, although Maurice Lucas, number 91, the only Colorado native in the Buffs' front seven, made a helmet-high tackle.
Graham in there, number 45 with a little bit of action. You see Lucas there. Didn't travel far to come to Boulder, grew up in Denver.
Pretty close, isn't it? About 35 miles away. That's where the Raiders and the Broncos play on Sunday. There is Drew again checking. What does he see this time? Takes the snap, hands it to Smith, trying to get outside, and he spins down to the 12-yard line. Strength of defensive formations and coverage.
He's going away from, they've got a little bit of an overload that Colorado likes to play. He's finding the down defensive lineman, and if they're overloaded to one side, he's calling an audible back the other way.
Well, Bobby Bowden, he brought some teams when he was at West Virginia, Keith, way out west. Back in the early 70s. We split two-game series, both played in Berkeley against Cal.
We played out here in '77 against San Diego State.
Yep, sure did. In his second year, lost to Stanford too. Drew, that's Smith on the screen.
That's a great job by Jeff Smart. Colorado was coming with pressure and in man coverage. And Drew read it correctly, got the ball out to Smith, but Jeff Smart just too quick. And much like Lucas, Smart didn't travel far either because he went to high school right here in Boulder.
Dykes was blitzing the strong safety. He's the number 9 that flashed past the blocking or feigning Anton Smith. Here's Sismacia on to attempt a 31-yard field goal that would extend this to a 10-0 lead. And the kick is away, and the kick is good. Gary Sismacia, the first 3 weeks this has been for him. He has connected on all 4 of his field goal tries as the senior from Parrish, Florida.
Well, he's number 2 all-time at Florida State, is the weed coming into tonight. He's made 73% of his field goal attempts, 41 of 52. He's improved that to 42 of 53. And he attributes a lot of the continued success and even improvement in his accuracy to Jody Allen and a little change during practice where the kickers, instead of being off on a field playing games with each other or whatever kickers do during practice, they actually have a routine and they actually use a videotape. And Sismacia has been able to study the video and look at his placement foot and notice that when he gets his placement foot too far towards the line of scrimmage, his accuracy diminishes. If he keeps that placement foot 2 or 3 inches back, then his accuracy greatly improves. And you saw with the graphic, he's second only to Sebastian, who is hopefully in a hotel room in Denver, or at least in Westminster.
He's hanging out there with Garrison Sanborn, is Sismacia, the man that snapped it, the senior from Tampa, and a holder, Brent Moody. They did the 1, 2, 3, yay team.
Seabass, of course, with the Raiders, who will play at Denver.
Let's be honest with Sebastian. You aren't quite sure if he's in that hotel room right
that's
now, are you?
Part of what I was alluding to.
We were down at Pearl Street last night. Here's Wheatley.
Dangerous return man.
He won't reach the 20. Good coverage by Florida State. Let's check in with Tom.
Just to follow up, PK, on what KJ was talking about, Jody Allen obviously coordinates the special teams now, and that's made a big difference, as Keith pointed out, in terms of watching videotape for the kickers. I think the other thing for Sismacia has been a mental adjustment. He's come out and basically said that this year he's really focused on consistency and not so much on distance. You know, a lot of times you want to know, have you made a 52, have you made a 54-yard field goal? Cismacia said, you know what, I'm just going to worry about being consistent, making the kicks I should make. And if you look at it, he's actually closer to 80% his last 18 tries. So he's 14 for 18 in his last 18 attempts. So obviously he has gotten more consistent.
Kendrick Stewart joins the defensive front, the front four. Hawkins feigns, releases, and the defender stumbled in Marcus Ball, made contact with the intended target. There's no flag coming, even though Tyson DeVray went down.
I'm not sure there ought to be one. Maybe we'll get a look on a replay here, but I thought Ball clipped his ankle, clipped his heel. Coming off the line of scrimmage, and then he's going to work on the right-hand part. And that's right there. Nope, maybe not. My bad, Marcus. He just stumbled.
Marcus himself is coming back from surgery to his left knee. Would he be in a situation much like Derek, just now getting into football
He's just
shape?
now getting into really just playing football.
Shuffle pass to the 25-yard line, 30-31. That is a first down. Demetrius Sumler.
Just the second reception by Sumler, the redshirt freshman who we talked about, filled in for Charles the first two ball games.
There's been some talent come out of San Diego, KJ.
Holy cow.
Reggie Bush and the like. Sumler's from San Diego. In fact, Sumler owns the all-time record for the most rushing yards in the history of San Diego high school football. There's a Heisman Trophy winner right here from the San Diego area. Hawkins into the flat, and the ball is over. To wrap up, Scotty McKnight pulling down.
McKnight been very quiet here through the first two quarters. Came into the ball game leading the Buffaloes in receptions, averaging 7 catches a game. Former walk-on.
For a very young passing attack. The quarterback's a freshman. McKnight a freshman. That Heisman Trophy winner, of course, Rashawn Salam, who won the Heisman here in '94 for Dan McCartney.
McKnight from the San Diego area in California as well.
So they're going into Southern California. They go to Hawaii as well. Linebacker Dyson from Hawaii. And there's Josh Smith coming back to the football. Now, what was Tom saying? He's got a nickname, PF Fly. He wants to get into merchandising. This is a freshman.
J Fly, I believe.
Bringing his own brand here. He's got a clothesline he wants to.
J Fly.
Yeah, J Fly. Well, he's got Josh Fly wants to be his clothes and PF Fly for his shoes.
And it's Mr. J Fly to you, PK.
He had a track offer. Very bright kid, obviously. Tallahassee. He had offers from Harvard, Columbia, and Caltech. So he can do the math. Quarterback sneak for Cody Hawkins. When Cody Hawkins lost last week, or the Buffaloes did, and he was the quarterback of record, and Tom may want to weigh in on this, it was the first game he had ever lost as a quarterback going all the way back to his elementary school days. What was that number, Tom? 60, 61 games without a loss?
Yeah, 60-0 since his Pop Warner days in the start of 6th grade, Paul. So this is the first. We're finding out how he responds to adversity tonight. We don't know how he comes back after a loss.
Play action. He's got an arm on him, and Cody Carter was in coverage.
That's Dusty Sprague.
Mentioned Troy Guyon earlier.
Yeah, Florida State, their defensive tackles have got to be able to get upfield, particularly in passing situations. Nice job by Guyon that time. That disturbs a quarterback when you can get in his face. He won't be credited with a pressure. He won't be credited with a knockdown and or a sack. But the coaches will appreciate the effort. He'll get a plus.
Yeah. And Mickey Andrews, will remind you, who is here tonight, said he is one of the most promising talents Florida State has had in a long time. The pressure, Hawkins was able to get that off despite Nefi Moffitt mauling him. Michael Ray Garvin was the closest defender, and the gain is of about 3-4 yards up at the far side. Big heat, though, coming from Moffitt.
Well, they talk about football being a game of inches, and that time Moffitt just inches from a sack, and Michael Ray and company just inches from jumping in front of that route. Great execution by Colorado.
Now, Jagoras latched onto it, his second catch tonight. It's 3rd and 5. The gain was of, well, he has 13 yards in receptions now. Colorado needs to reach the 47-yard line. Floating and miscommunication between Patrick Williams, who was running it out, and the quarterback thought he was running a takeoff.
It's also a game of communication. And when you don't communicate, you look just plumb silly.
Off goes Hawkins. Florida State is, the head coach of the Buffs and Dan Hawkins is discovering, is getting better as this game goes on defensively, aren't they? How important, go back to that 15-play drive where Kevin Eberhardt missed a rather short field goal. They came up with nothing. The last punt by Matt DeLallo, born in Melbourne, sailed 53 yards. And a flag was thrown to delay a game before this ball was snapped.
Delay of game. Number 14 of the kicking team. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still forfeit.
DeLallo going, I didn't do anything. I was ready.
He's studying. Here's one for you, Keith.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Integrative physiology. Integrative physiology. So talk to me on my level. What is that?
On your level?
Is that pre-med?
That's the round peg in the round hole on your level.
106.
What's he want to be? Doctor, I believe.
I would hope so.
Freshman All-American.
I can't see flashing that degree if you're selling used cars.
That'll look good on the wall in a couple of years. Takes a long time to get it off. Fair catch called for. Parker makes it at the 20-yard line. 37-yard punt without a return. The nationally ranked Florida State soccer team takes on North Florida Tuesday, September 18th at 7. Join the Noles at the Seminoles Soccer Complex on the Florida State campus. Admission free. Make sure to log on to Seminoles.com for all the information on soccer or every other sport at Florida State.
And if you want to see good soccer, good fundamental, well-played soccer, go out to the soccer field and watch those ladies. They execute unbelievably well.
Less than a minute remaining. How does Florida State play the final 59 ticks of this clock? Leading 10-0 on the ground initially. Colorado has one timeout to use here, Keith.
I think they'll be content just to let that clock run, both squads.
If you're Colorado shut out here in the first half, you know if you're Dan Hawkins, your offense can move the ball, don't you? So you've got something to hang your hat on. If you're Florida State, after still another puzzling first quarter of play, they get going in the second.
Plus Florida State will receive the opening kick of the second half.
And here will come the timeout, you would think, with 19 seconds remaining. They get it stopped with 16 seconds on the clock. Bobby Bowden says he likes Dan Hawkins. Says there's a bit of country boy in him. Played his football at Cal Davis, was a fullback there. Hard-nosed, likable guy.
Colorado, there'll be a 30-second timeout. Please reset the game clock to 20 seconds. Thank you.
So Bobby, the winningest coach in college football history, looks across the field and sees a man who won the WAC's Coach of the Year award 4 times in 5 years, and you were saying 3 years with double-digit victories there in Boise, Idaho.
Well, Coach Bowden likes men of integrity and character, and certainly Hawkins fills that bill. But I tell you, that right there is impressive. When you do that, I don't care what level you're on. When you can win 11-plus ball games, Division I, Division II, or Division III, you've done something.
Nearly had an unbeaten, a perfect season in 04. They were 11-0 and then lost in the postseason to Louisville, lost the bowl game. So Florida State takes it on one knee. We are headed toward halftime. Golden Buffalo Marching Band will be along. We'll have all the highlights for you. The first 2 quarters of play. Florida State's first ever appearance here at historic Folsom Field, and the first time Bobby, Tom, has ever come here to Boulder, Colorado.
Well, Bobby, the start's been better tonight. You're able to have a lead at the half. Can you talk about the way the offense picked it up a little bit in the second quarter?
We don't know what to do. We're ahead at the half. It's been a long time. You know what? I bet you it's been 5 or 6 games before we've been ahead at the half. Well, we'll just go ahead and try to do better what we're doing and see if we can get our blocking a little bit better, try to get that running game going a little bit. But the little quarterback's giving us fits on his rollout and hitting the short guy and making the first down.
It seems as if they're really trying to use your speed against itself in terms of your defense with all their crossing patterns. But having said that, Mickey Andrews' troops have done the job and kept them off the board.
Yeah, that's what you try to do with speed, give misdirection. But we've played it pretty good so far.
Final question, you downplayed the effects of the altitude all week long. Now that you're here, having watched your team for a half, do you see any signs that they're affected by it at all?
I can't tell any difference myself. I can't even tell any difference. And I'm old.
Thank you, Coach. Paul?
Thank you very much.
He ain't running either, though.
His kicker's got to lag it. Hit a couple of 50-yarders. Tony Carter with this, the first interception by the Knoll defense, sets up Anton Smith. His touchdown, the big score in this 10-0 chunk of change at Folsom Field. Ralphie's stampeding, and so are we, as more than 60,000 are set for our second half.
Watch the horns. Watch the horns.
Real horns here. 20 years of primetime Knowles on Sun Sports. Our very first Buffalo. Paul Kennedy, Keith Jones. Well, buffaloed in the first quarter. Florida State gets a pick, manages to punch it in, leads by 10.
A very slow first quarter. They did pick it up, and all starting with this interception by Tony Carter. He actually returns the ball back to about the 50-yard line, midfield, and set Florida State up. A couple of offensive plays, and then Drew Weatherford comes to the line, makes a good check to this running play, and Smith goes left and then back to his right, 36-yard touchdown. That put up Florida State 7-0. FSU then put another mini drive together, and that included this catch and run by Parker. Coach Jimbo Smith saying he just wants to get the ball in Five's hand, and Gary Sismacia was perfect on a field goal, and that takes us into halftime with Florida State up 10-0. Let's go back and look at the keys of the game. We talked about the fact that the game starts at 8:15 local. Well, they almost got it done, did Florida State. They scored 10 points in the second quarter, where they hadn't in the first half of the two prior. Fundamentally sound, including penalties. For Colorado, success on first down. And you see there that their average yards on first down, not that great, and they've got to be able to have an opportunity to win on special teams. We haven't seen Wheatley with the opportunity to return punts. He is a game changer.
Cody Hawkins at quarterback. Bobby Badenu coming in. It'd be a shorter controlled passing game. Less than 100 yards passing on, get this, 16 completions. One has been very long, averaging about 6 yards per completion. A walk-on, an 18-year-old freshman from Portland, Oregon, Tyler Cope, to kick off for the first time in his career here in this stadium. Just his third game. Intercollegiate football. We have seen 2 punts go out of the end zone, and rather kickoffs out of the end zone, and now this one too takes a big bounce. Those passing numbers again by Hawkins, Keith, 16 completions, and yet 95 yards through the air.
Well, and I think that's part of the game plan, given the fact that his completion percentage was below 40% last time out. They wanted a nice, easy throws, and they've been very successful in keeping the ball in the time of possession category. And I think if you had told Dan Hawkins that he would be able to control 20 minutes of the first half, he'd be very, very happy with that.
Had a 15-play drive and then missed a field goal out of it in the first quarter. Drew Weatherford. On the pitch, wrinkle there, isn't it? The deep pitch to his tailback, Anton Smith. George Hippolyte on this tackle. You see Overmeyer along with Deron Rose. The sophomore wears number 76. They're in there up front. Ryan McMahon will be over the football as we open the second half. Marcus Sims takes himself out of the game at fullback. Cedric Holloway, a big 250-pound sophomore, number 52. Is in the game, and he sets up on the wing right side. Dances around, Weatherford uncorks, a little too hot, and incomplete. In and out of the hands of Richard Goodman. Brad Jones looked to make the diving interception. It's ruled incomplete.
Well, they'll probably look at this one again, but the ball right on target from Weatherford. Goodman just not able to bring it in. Another look at it right there, off the hands. Goodman makes a jump, yep, right on the ground. That's an incomplete pass, good call by the officials.
Brad Jones does not have an interception. In fact, of the 2 interceptions this year posted by Colorado, both were picked by Wheatley, the corner, and you were saying Wheatley's been quiet so far.
Very quiet.
So 3rd down, and Florida State is 0 for 5 converting on 3rd down so far in this game. And here comes Colorado. They get the drill, flag in, may have pass interference. The deepest official on the field, the back judge, chucked out about 15 yards.
I give the officials credit for arm strength, because we've seen flags thrown a farther distance, and maybe it's the air. And the home crowd will not be happy with that call.
Crossing route, the pass intended for Preston Parker. And Ron Cherry, an Atlantic Coast Conference crew in command tonight.
29 defense. That is a spot foul. Automatic first down.
29 is the nickel corner, and Chappelle Brown.
And here it comes right here. And he gets there real early. And he keeps Parker from having access to the football or getting close enough to the football.
Now, if you're a defensive back, would you agree with that call?
Yes, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's the way the rules are set up. You cannot prohibit the receiver from getting to the football.
So the screen, busted play here. There goes Drew. Jordan Dyson on this stop.
Well, after 2.5 games, you shouldn't have busted plays, Paul.
Dyson with his 7th stop. Drew turned to his right, no running back there, took off. On the counter. You had mentioned, KJ, that Dyson with well over 300 career tackles for Colorado. Only Thomas Heath of Central Michigan, Vince Hall for the Hokies of Virginia Tech have more among all linebackers in college football. And here he makes another. Now does number 44. I mean, 325 tackles over 4 years. 3 years and 3 weeks. It's a lot of stops.
Well, he's well on his way to 400. I think that is almost a given should he stay healthy.
His linebacker coach, Brian Cabral, had the record when he graduated here. Cabral, still on the staff, has been here for close to 20 years. Finally, Dyson was able to break his record. Close to 300 stops. Florida State needs 4 yards of this possession. Will stop and come to an end. At the feet of Richard Goodman, incomplete.
That's a poor throw by Drew. Just a poor, poor throw.
Here comes the kicking unit, Graham Gano.
In both of their prior contests, Colorado's opponents had scored on the opening drive of the second half. Florida State unable to muster a first down or points here in game number 3.
Colorado has not been shut out in over a decade. Didn't get that number the last time they were. He's the punt by Gano. Latched on to by Chase McBride. And Dakota Watson on special teams is able to get to him. Don't miss the Seminole volleyball team in action all year long. The Noles hosting the Duke Blue Devils September 28th at 7 o'clock. All the action at Tully Gym on the Florida State campus. Florida State volleyball, admission free. Log on Seminoles.com for match information and much more. Colorado's first offensive possession of this, the second half. The game plan initially, Keith, was for them to go vertical in this game tonight.
That's a little surprising there. If I'm Colorado, I'd stick to the ground game a little more.
It's a bulldog tackle by Bud Thacker, number 72. A big sophomore from Sanford. And a loss of 1.5. considered just a second-year player, what his upside is, KJ.
He's one of those guys, Paul, you've heard the cliche, the motor is always running. He doesn't idle. His motor runs at about 6,000 RPMs all the time.
Odell Higgins loves coaching him. Almost standout defensive tackle and broken up. 45-yard line. Great coverage by Michael Ray Garvin, and the pass intended for the freshman, Josh Smith.
And Garvin a little lame as he bounces up. Second time we've seen Colorado try to go deep. This is a well-thrown ball. Michael Ray right on the hip, and then when the receiver turns back, you get your hand up and knock the ball away. The only thing that Mickey Andrews, I think, would like Michael Ray to do better is maybe try to get his head back around and locate the ball. But good coverage.
So Michael Ray Garvin is out. Jamie Robinson on one corner. Patrick Robinson, no relation, on the other corner.
Well, there were 5 defensive backs.
And Garvin huddled on. And a throw here, flag in, and that's broken up by Jamie on the far side. And a flag down at the 33-yard line. Large measure, Mickey Andrews, who made the trip after battling pneumonia all week, has to be proud of the way the secondary has come through tonight. They get the pick that sets up the first touchdown. But this is on FSU.
And I think this penalty actually was on Jamie Robinson.
20 on the defense.
It was.
That's a 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
The freshman all-conference selection a year ago. And this will move the sticks for Colorado, give them a first down. Hawkins with time, tries it again. Over the shoulder grab made at the 29-yard line. That is speed on speed. Josh Smith against Michael Ray Garvin. 35 yards, first down Buffalo.
And that time Michael Ray was a step behind as opposed to being right on the hip. And a nice delivery by Hawkins right over the shoulder.
Josh Smith, a high school track star. Michael Ray Garvin, an All-American at the college level.
Watch this ball just settle right in there. Great route using that speed. And then a good job by Garvin. He does try to get in and get the football.
That's his 18th completed pass tonight, second of the second half. Rolls and guns, he's got another. Scotty McKnight to the 20-yard line.
And right now you see momentum definitely with this Colorado offense. The adjustments that they've made, and Mark Helfrich, their offensive coordinator, they've come out here on their first possession of the second half and marched the football.
Mentioned wanting to go vertical. They have. They hit that 35-yarder. And Hawkins, again, only a freshman, redshirt freshman, and the coach's son. The first freshman to be the opening day starter at Colorado in 90 years of Buffalo football. Swing pass out to the 15-yard line. And it's Hugh Charles. Derek Nicholson wraps him up.
Yeah, we've seen Florida State utilize running backs in the passing game. Colorado says, you can do it, I can do it too.
And it continues. This march does on the third straight completion by Hawkins to the 13-yard line. So within striking distance in the red zone. In play action, blindside hit. Hawkins appeared to lose the football when he went down. Colorado has recovered. What a hit he took on the backside. Looked to be Everett Brown.
Well, Brown was left completely alone. He came untouched. And of course, with Hawkins setting up, his back is to him. Everett Brown will be coming this way. And it's going to hurt. Uh-oh.
That ball was out. First sack of the game for FSU. The loss back to the 20. Low snap. Handoff to Charles. And he's mauled at the 25. Nefi Moffitt, one of the first helmets there for the Seminoles.
Moffitt, as we've talked about, known for his sacks. Florida State's not had many. But also talked about, when you talk about Nefi, his tackles for loss, his ability to get into the backfield and disrupt plays. You know, he's not that big, 255, 260. He does stand 6'6". He's tall, but he is so quick and so tenacious.
The defense has pushed Colorado all the way back to the 24, and they're blitzing, and they do it again. That's back to the 30-yard line. Gino Hayes.
And that'll make what would have been a chip shot field goal a little more difficult.
Lockbridge dropped at the 29. There's Mickey.
Hayes just walks right up there. It's a design play. Watch him right there. Walks right up there, and nobody can get their hands on him. He's in the backfield about the time the ball's handed off.
Kevin Eberhardt here from 47. Hooked it earlier from 38. Misfired. This has all the leg he'd want, but he's missed it again. 3 years ago, back in 2003, he was 0 for 2 against Florida State in Doak. Here he's 0 for 2 again tonight. Man, that'd be 4 seasons ago, wouldn't it? Eberhardt, a tough night. Those points costly. Hawkins comes up empty.
One reason to come to Steak and Shake is our service. Let's break that word down. Serve. At Steak and Shake, we come to your table to take your order, cook your order to order, then bring you your order. Ice.
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
Of course Geico sponsors Mike's Race Car because they insure everything race car fans love. RVs, motorcycles, ATVs. Tell you one thing they can insure. Lauren Wallace. Because Lauren Wallace is made of lightning. Those guys are like, hey, where's Lauren? He was just here a minute ago. I'm 100 miles away, son. Ready to strike.
Geico, saving you money on insurance for your car and the other stuff that moves you.
Welcome back to Boulder, mid-third quarter. It is 10-zip Florida State on top of Colorado as we bring you back inside. Florida State working on its second win of the season. You know, Dan Hawkins is in his second year as head coach at Colorado. He was sky high when he got the job from Boise State, and then he was even higher than that when his daughter dared him to go skydiving. She told him, she said, Dad, all you tell your team means nothing if you're not afraid to do this, because one of the lessons he preaches is you got to get out of your comfort zone, guys, and take a risk. He was a little bit scared there, but he did meet the challenge of his daughter, and that was summer of '06. Summer of '07, Paul, he was been training for a marathon. I think he ultimately settled for a half marathon, but he wasn't afraid to take the challenge from the family there.
Have a great marathon here, the Boulder.
A, I'm not running in a marathon, and B, I am not jumping out of an airplane that doesn't have anything wrong with it.
I'm with you on that one, KJ.
His son cliff dives in young Cody. So the apple never cliff dives too far from the plummeting pop. Florida State owns the football at its 30-yard line. Again, give credit to the defense, Keith, the way they pushed Colorado back, cost them field position. Eberhardt, the senior, having a tough night. He was missed 2 tonight, and now Drew goes to work. Guns a long way to the far side, and for the first time in this game, Greg Carr, the tallest target on the field, the junior, has his first grab.
Nice out route by Greg. Great delivery by Drew. I think we see here in the second series of the second half that Florida State not going to be content to just run the ball on first down.
The top of your screen, again, that's Cody Fack for Florida State, matched up on Terrence Wheatley, the all-conference corner. Does Drew go that way? Instead on the ground, running room. across the 45, 46-yard line. Anton Smith and Brandon Nicholas made the stop.
You saw in our keys to game that I really felt like Colorado needed to have some success on first down. They averaged just about 1.5 yards. Florida State, on the other hand, averaging right at 5 yards every first down. They get 6 that time with the handoff to Smith.
2nd and 5. Slot left, Parker in that slot. Take that. 2. You can hear the collision. Dyson stepping up. Number 44. He comes from the westernmost high school in technically the United States, in Kauai, Hawaii. You go out there to recruit him, Keith?
I go out there to play.
The assistant coach doesn't go any further out. There's nothing out past that point in the South Pacific.
Dexter Carter there on the right, questioning Smith.
All-American from San Francisco 49er. 3rd down. The Noles able to punch this into Colorado territory. Hello in the first. The slant too high for Dakota Fagg, who was covered by Wheatley. It got inside of him.
And another poor throw by Drew.
And high. And off will come Dakota Fagg and the Seminole offense.
And I'm sure Weatherford not happy with himself.
Graham Gano's last effort went for 56 yards. Puts that right foot into it. Running up is McBride. Bobbled. The 14, and that bobble cost him time. Down again is Dakota Watson. A 34-yard kick. Timeout on the field. 6:51 left in quarter number 3. College football on Sun Sports is brought to you by SunTrust. Stop by any SunTrust branch and learn how you can get $100 for your favorite charity or $50 in a gift card to keep for your own cause. By Dixie Crossroads, famous for wild ocean shrimp, including their trademark specialty rock shrimp, the shrimp that tastes like lobster. And by K&G Fashion Superstore. 4 men, 4 less. Desert sandstone on nearly every building here, some dating back to 1876 when this university was first founded.
About 200 of those buildings with that architectural design.
How many times did you walk away saying, now why do we live in Florida again?
I tell you, you know, if you're out here in February, it might change your mind, but this is just a beautiful, beautiful part of the country.
If you aren't wearing black tonight and you're a Buffalo fan, you are out of style. This is a blackout night here, and the students started it. Communities rallied behind them. See a sparkle or two of gold in there, but primarily in this crowd of 60,000. Out of black shirts.
And some kids painted their bodies.
Time of possession in Colorado's favor. They owned the first quarter. Florida State got going in the second. Hawkins off his back foot, throws and really throws it away. The closest defender was Roger Williams, and it's incomplete.
And you see Colorado changing their philosophy just a little. First 2 quarters, a lot of under routes, crossing routes of 6-8 yards. Now, with some success going deep, particularly with the ability to get deep with the return of Josh Smith, a little more aggressive, more intermediate throws for Hawkins at the quarterback position.
Boise State was known for its vertical, wide open attack, but with the talent that he found here, Dan Hawkins was only able to earn 2 wins last year. 2-10 on the season. Bobbled handoff on the end around, and young Josh Smith is going to end up at his 6-yard line.
And guess who?
Well, Derek Nicholson was there first.
We had Nicholson with what, 8 tackles in the first half?
In the first 2 quarters.
Play is made right there with good upfield movement.
It's a loss of 7.
It's Kendrick Stewart, number 56. who's been moved outside. He's normally a nose guard. He's been moved outside with Kevin McNeil not available, and that's a great job by Stewart.
Sophomore from Lakeland, Florida.
And Colorado will have to take a timeout.
Timeout taken. The play clock set to expire.
Timeout is charged to Colorado.
Hawkins and Kendrick Celestine, the wide receiver. The conversation there, and the head coach is going to want an explanation. His freshman son. A head coach coaching his son is pretty rare. This is the only 7th combination right now among active players and head coaches in all of Division I. Dad and son on the same field. 10-0 Florida State. Still, that was the score at halftime. We have 6 minutes to go here in quarter number 3, and you have an opportunity to win 4 Skybox tickets for the Florida State Gator game, courtesy of Sun Sports and Subway restaurants. Each week from September 17th through October 21st, visit a participating Subway restaurant to get a code. Enter the code at sunsportstv.com/Subway. The more weekly codes you enter, the better chances of winning those 4 Skybox tickets. Here's father and son. Dad Dan, son Cody, the freshman quarterback. You know how many freshman quarterbacks have started for their dads in the last 100 years of college football? I'm going to blow you away with this one. 3. Pretty close. 3 freshmen for their dads. So this is very rare here. And the first freshman to start on opening day in Colorado history. He's in his own end zone right now. Seminole defense playing well, and there's a big hit applied by Florida State's Gino Hayes at the boundary on the near side, and he's getting all kinds of props.
Florida State has their nickel and their dime package. That was their nickel package, but with Gino Hayes in there, it's almost like a 6th defensive back with his ability to move. Ball's nicely thrown, but I'm not sure he could have come down with it anyway, given the hit from Gino.
Josh Smith with all that talking and just 1 catch, although it was good for 38. The Seminole defense has taken control of this game here in the 3rd quarter. It's a magnificent punt. It covered about 80 yards in the air. There goes Parker! Preston Parker still on his feet. Flag in. Parker looking to go. Parker to the 20-yard line. That's about as good as it gets. What a run. They're in awe here in Colorado, and the 5,000 Nole fans are roaring.
That flag, I think, will be an inadvertent face mask that should add 5 more yards. And Florida State's offense will be set up very nicely at about the CU 15.
A 44-yard return charging through Buffaloes. He's winded, going to get some oxygen. 5-yard variety, you're right, KJ. Inadvertent. I mean, man, what he has done in the first 3 weeks of the season.
On the return, with a face mask, 5 yards, number 40, first down.
So the Noles with an opportunity to make this a 17-0 game in the 3rd quarter. And you need that oxygen, don't you, up here?
I need oxygen just watching Preston run around. I get tired just watching it.
Sucking it down. Jamal Edwards spreads the field, empty backfield. Whistles, contact prior to the snap. Movement, neutral zone.
Question is who?
Florida State flinch.
Or would that be whom?
Or the Buffs jump.
Offside, defense, number 94. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Brandon Nicholas, while we have a moment, take another look at this one that will leave you and us out of breath.
Well, look at the number of Buffs that touch him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th one actually brings him down.
Not for long. Preston Parker, number 5. 44-yard return. Another penalty against Colorado. And a whistle. And Dakota Fag moved. been that kind of a start to Dakota's season.
Prior to the snap, that's a false start. Offense, number 81. It's a 5-yard penalty, still first down.
You think Ron Cherry taught diction as a young man?
You do a pretty good Ron Cherry. 5 penalties for 35 yards.
Yeah, but I don't want him to hear me.
Thought he could hear you at Clemson. Waiting moments of that game a few weeks ago, Death Valley. So we're back to 1st and 10. Really no harm done at the 15-yard line, and Florida State needs a timeout. Florida State will take a timeout, and there was some confusion.
Offense.
Players are kind of huddling around John
That's
Frady.
a 30-second timeout. Timeout is charged to Florida State.
There was a question as to his responsibilities. The old man has the headphones on. We've been talking about Preston Parker's start to the year, so Keith, let's begin in Death Valley 2 games ago. Well, here's against UAB.
So you see his numbers there, 170 plus all-purpose yards. Receiving and punt return, the bulk of them. He did have a rushing attempt that netted 9. But offensive coordinator Jimbo Fisher says he's just the kind of guy that you've got to put the ball in his hands, 10, 12, 15 times a game, because anytime he touches it, he can take it the distance.
Wearing that number 5, as did Florida State's leading receiver a year ago in Chris Davis.
Well, they look so similar to each other.
Sure do. I saw Chris Davis, by the way. He's playing for the Titans now, returning kicks. Tennessee, they had the win over Jacksonville, and it was a Colorado buff in Chris Brown that rambled for 175 yards in Jacksonville. And the Titans are in the win. Off the timeout, Weatherford under pressure, and the catch is made right at the 10-yard line by tall Greg Carr.
And a good job by Weatherford to stand in the pocket. He took a shot, but stood tall and delivered that ball nicely. The quarterback gets a lot of glamour and a lot of bruises.
Paid the price, has his 7th completion. And it's 2nd down and 5, Florida State. Anton Smith touchdown. On the 31-yard Sis Macy a field goal. And now he passes Thad Busby and moves into the top 5 FSU history. And being chased, and he just gets rid of it once outside the pocket. George Hippolyte running into the boundary. How about that? In the history of Florida State, Keith, only 4 men have more yards than Drew Weatherford.
Well, and a lot of that has to go to the fact that in the Florida State vernacular, particularly under Coach Bowden, you didn't start until your junior year. So you've got a lot of quarterbacks with just 2 and possibly 3 years of statistics. Drew's got the opportunity to have 4, as did Chris Ricks. That doesn't take away from his accomplishment, but it's certainly not the way Coach Bowden built the program.
And it was Chris Ricks, Crow Thorpe that had that huge day when these 2 teams first angled back in 2003. Play clock at 3. Drew throws the slant to Parker. He cannot hold on. He was coming into traffic. The storm clouds in the center of the field. And off he will come, the kicking unit back on.
Every now and then, even the great ones don't bring it down.
You put the G word on him right there, you think he...
Oh, yeah, there's no question. He stays healthy.
Who's he going to be? Is he going to be number 9? Is he going to be...
He might end up being as valuable as Pete when everything's said and done.
On Peter Warwick, this will be a 27-yard attempt, and he's now 5 for 5 on the year. Gary Sis-Macy, his 2nd field goal. The lead swells. A 2-score game at 13-0 with 5:16 to go in quarter number 3. 1 against Clemson, a pair against UAB, and 2 more on the road here as the Seminole defense shutting out the Buffaloes on their home field in what is for Colorado their home opener in 2007. Drew Weatherford starting every game, every snap so far this year and climbing up the career numbers. They're at 6,000 passing yards.
Just one more completion, reach that 500 level.
His next touchdown will take him into the top 10 in career TD passes. That's Chip Ferguson.
Xavier Lee there to your right, number 1. Devontae Richardson, number 16.
Number 4A, Florida Player of the Year, Devontae Richardson. And you also have
Ponder.
Christian Ponder, the freshman from Texas, on the trip. 4 quarterbacks have made the trip here. Pretty good breeze at the back now.
Can he put it through the goalpost?
Of Graham Gano. Gets it a long way. Off his goal line. Out to the 25-yard line. Colorado will start at the 26-yard line. A 25-yard return by Wheatley. Don't miss your chance to win the game room of your dreams. Catch Rec Warehouse College Kickoff every Friday on Sun Sports. And we'll announce the special Rec Warehouse Ultimate Game Room promotion code that week. Log on to sunsportstv.com and click on the banner to enter a chance to win a weekly prize and ultimately the Rec Warehouse Ultimate Game Room.
I'm not eligible, am I?
Well, you are, but you could use one of those.
I want one.
Pool table, flat screen. Colorado trying to avoid going flat here on the short dump. This is Hugh Charles. Catches it in the flat and takes off.
Second time that Colorado has caught Florida State with a back sneaking out of the backfield and a big chunk of real estate here at Folsom Field eaten up. Downfield, get a little runoff by McKnight. And then right in behind him comes the ball carrier.
The 4th reception by Charles. And the big hitter here. Good for 35 and quickly out near the midfield stripe. 5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Cuddy Hawkins. Florida State walks up the blitz. Myron Roll doesn't come. Throw to the far side. And the tackle's made by Tony Carter on Patrick Williams. Far side. And it'll be the 21st completion of the night, and for Williams, his 3rd grab, first of the second half for the junior. Started with the earlier interception. Set up the first score. Greer shifts. He was shaken up earlier in this game. And the inside handoff, and Florida State's not biting on the end around. There is Bud Thacker again. No gain on the play.
Slowly but surely. Thacker and company able to make plays there at the line of scrimmage. Chuck Amata right there signals in the plays. Mickey, of course, is upstairs. Chuck in charge of the linebackers.
On 3rd and 7. Florida State in that nickel again.
Ball.
And snap. Hawkins has to hop on it at the 37-yard line. Every time they get something going here, Keith.
Did Notre Dame's offense just show up?
Moffitt giving chase, and Dan said, come on, hang tough, and watch this snap from Daniel Sanders.
I mean, it just rolled back there. That's not Hawkins. That's all on Sanders. And, Cody does a good, smart thing. Doesn't try to pick it up and do something crazy. Just falls on it.
All right, DeLallo from Wellington will be kicking into the wind. What breeze there is, and kicking toward Parker. Preston sees he has a return, starts at his 22. Trying to get outside and cannot. He hauled down at the 27-yard line by Josh Smith. Or check that, rather than Josh Smith, it's a Daniel Dykes that made this stop. Single game football tickets will remind you, going fast, make sure you're at Doak as the Noles take on NC State, Duke, and Maryland. Log on to Seminoles.com or by calling 1-888-FSU-NOLE. 41-yard kick, a 6-yard return, and here comes Drew once again. With the breeze at his back. his resume so far tonight.
Watch Damon McDaniel there at the bottom of your screen. You can barely see his helmet.
And sophomore from Virginia Beach. Drew looking the other way, though, and guns for Carr, and it's incomplete. Broken up. Fortunate it wasn't picked. Bracketed Terrence Wheatley. Got a hand on that.
Wheatley very nearly had career interception number 12.
Drew was just 2 for 8 in this half, KJ, for 15 yards.
So he's done some nice things, particularly the check at the line that allowed Smith to score, but this has not been one of his stellar performances, no question.
The center, Ryan McMahon from Rome, Georgia. And again, some uncertainty in the backfield and a flag in, and the Noles broke the huddle with 12. Carr was on the field, had not come off when he was
There's only
substituted
10 people on the field, though. There's only 10 on the field right now. So you got to pick that flag up.
There's no flag on the
You're
play.
right.
There's a miscount. There were only 10 players on the field. There is no foul on the play.
Well, Carr comes off, and his position coach, Lawrence Dawsey, is right in his face. In goes Parker. One of the most accomplished receivers in Florida State history.
That might have been actually a break for Florida State between the play clock and only 10 players.
Well, they have 11 now. And the pitch. And nowhere for Smith. DJ Dykes, who made the special team stop a moment ago, up on this tackle.
Well, we haven't talked about Dykes much. He started as a walk-on here. He's third on the team in tackles coming in with 20 stops. His backup, Lionel Harris, has played 6 plays. Dykes has played 158 coming into the ballgame.
Dykes began his college career at Idaho, the Vandal, Los Alamitos, California. Carr to the top of your screen. Parker is the slot receiver. That's Damon McDaniel. Somewhat obscured at the bottom, so 3 receivers out, and look at the arm on Drew for Carr. Jump ball. Carr has it at the 28-yard line. First down, Seminoles.
Not pretty, but very effective.
He took it away from Ryan Walters. A gain of 50 yards, biggest of the night for FSU.
And Drew had to lay that ball out a long, long way. Here goes Carr. Safety comes over. That's Ryan Walters, as you called. Ball is a jump ball, and that 9 times out of 10, Carr's going to be able to go up and get.
5 catches, make it 4 last week. 5 coming in, 3 tonight.
Whatever Lawrence said to him on the sideline was good, huh?
Coaching him up pretty good. The Noles can bust this thing wide open. There's the pitch reverse, and this is the speed of McDaniel. Near a first down at the 18-yard line.
They like Damon McDaniel. In fact, Coach Jimbo Fisher says McDaniel reminds him so much of a tailback once he gets the ball in his hand. Stands 6 foot, goes about 200, 205. And again, handoff and then the flip. See, I like that much better than the attempt to actually hand the ball. Nice job that time by Parker, who just flips the ball back to McDaniel. Much easier for the receiver to catch because that's what they're used to doing.
Athletes in space. Maurice Lucas hops on the back of Marcus Sims. Take him down. Not until Marcus had earned the first down. First down, Seminoles. Close to the 15-yard line.
That's Coach Fisher up in the booth. Play calling, Paul, much like getting in the rhythm on the field. You get a feel for things and how to do things, how to call things, call plays to set up other plays, pay attention and look for things. There might not be a better one, at least amongst his peers in the game right now than Fisher during the game.
Drew in an I formation. Sims, Anton Smith dots the I. He takes the handoff and is cracked by Jordan Dizon. His own backfield may have lost a yard. How many hits has Dizon made? The Florida State side of the line of scrimmage.
Well, he's a linebacker. He plays on that weak side, so he's able to take a few more chances, gamble a little bit more, read quick, and get into the flow. And his name has been called a number of times, and trust me, and this is senior year, as we talk about, if he stays healthy, it'll be called a few more.
Florida State threatening as the third quarter ends. Drew turns and sprints toward the other end of Folsom Field, and quarter number 4. We will too. Our 20th anniversary season of Primetime Noles, and the first trip for the Garnet and Gold here to Boulder, Colorado, the home of Ralphie. Can the Noles shut out the Buffs? Quarter number 4 just ahead on Sun Sports. Our vantage point,
we're up there somewhere.
Top shelf we are, looking down on this crowd, which has been very quiet for the most part. Florida State in the midst of its longest drive of the night, Keith. A half dozen plays that's covered close to 60 yards, and 3 minutes have been absorbed off the clock.
And Florida State will now be operating into the bold end here of Folsom Field.
Everybody in black, the students, and the famed Colorado. So distinctive south end zone on
and
this
why
stadium.
is it there?
Well, there used to be a track that went around the field back in the day, and they took the track out, lowered the playing field.
The field used to be up at this level.
That's correct. And they could not get grass to grow on what remained of the hill, so they just put the asphalt up there and painted it Colorado.
Well, they put the concrete down in '71 because this was a artificial surface until '99.
It was?
Yes.
Originally a member of the Big 7 until 1960, when the conference became the Big 8. And then when the Southwest broke up, came the Big 12. Texas came in. Texas Tech, the Aggies. The Big 12 since 1996. Florida State looking for 6 as we open the fourth quarter. Paul Kennedy, Keith Jones, Tom Block down on the sideline, a mile high. Out here in the Rockies. Drew running out of time, and he'll be sacked for the first time. First sack of the night, Brandon Nicholas gets in, the nose tackle, number 94.
Second sack on the year for Nicholas. He, like many of the kids we've talked about, out of California.
Signed with Tyrone Willingham at Notre Dame, and perhaps having seen that score from the Michigan game this weekend, is glad he elected to come here to Boulder. It's thin right now in South Bend. 4-receiver package. Anton Smith, shoulder to shoulder for Drew. They hand it to Anton. The linemen hold their blocks, and he's able to drive the ball inside the 19-yard line. A Boatman on the near side, along with Overmeyer, KJ, have to hold up those defensive linemen a long time.
Well, that's a very slow developing play by design to give Smith an opportunity to find some creases and some cracks.
Gary Sismacia, there's not been a crack in his armor so far this year. 5 for 5, including a pair tonight. This would be from 37. Angle to his left. Brent Moody will hold it. The snapper, a senior in Garrison Sandberg. This kick is away, and he's 3 for 3, and that was with authority. And it's a 16-0 Seminole lead. By Gary Sismacia. Timeout taken. Sismacia buys 3 for the Noles. A good hold, a perfect kick on a glorious night for football.
Why do we call them steak burgers? Because we can.
When people ask me for a recommendation, I suggest a chocolate hand-dipped milkshake. And when people ask me for a recommendation, I suggest a vanilla hand-dipped milkshake. The side-by-side milkshake. Any 2 of your favorite milkshakes together in one glass.
Steak and Shake, where you can get side-by-side milkshakes.
Being a parent is a tough job. So much responsibility and no easy answers. You love your baby. You want the best for your baby. You thought you could handle it yourself, but you need help. someone who understands, someone who will listen, someone you can trust, a friend. Call 1-800-FLA-LOVE. Healthy Families Florida is the friend at your door.
Only the Nissan Titan has a Utilitrack cargo system and the longest crew cab bed in its class. You choose the tie-down points, you choose the angle. Because Nissan thinks when you put something in your bed, it should stay there. The new 2008 full-size Nissan Titan, the Titan of trucks. Now get up to $3,500 Nissan cash back or 1.9% APR financing.
Gary Sismacia, a big night for the Weed. 31-27 and 37, Tom Block. And Florida State's lead 16-0.
Obviously, he agrees with the elevation here in Boulder, but we talked a lot about the altitude and how it would affect Florida State. One of the other things they did tonight, guys, was adjust the pressure in the helmets. That's adjusting the air pressure right there. Normally, guys want it inflated more, so there's more cushion, a little bit of a tighter feel. But here at 5,300 feet, they already feel too tight. So actually what they're doing is taking pressure out. They're deflating the helmets. It's just the way it works when you're a mile high. If you sprain a finger, something like that, it's going to swell up a lot more than it would at sea level. So kind of a change for Dave Delegal and Keith Graham and the equipment folks to have to actually take pressure out of the helmets tonight.
That's very interesting. I don't know that I've ever seen air coming out.
I checked, by the way, Paul, they don't use a tire gauge. I actually asked Keith about that. He said it's all by feel. You just inflate it until the player says it feels good.
Yeah, that feels good to me.
Far better than the suspension and straps in the helmets I grew up with. Here we go.
They have Byron Whizzer White, the first All-American. This is the 70th anniversary of the Supreme Court Justice who was a star here. His leather helmet is in the trophy case here at the stadium, so you can go back and compare it to today's technology. I don't know what the Wizard would think of all of this. That was chapped out by Gano, trying to bait them into return, and Wheatley will have a return.
Watch out.
Best. Met at the 24 and finally taken down at the 30-yard line. A 27-yard return for Wheeler. So the Noles get this one, and we still have 13.5 minutes to go. They would also have a week off as they head back home and prepare for, or an extra week to prepare for, the University of Alabama.
I got to check with Andy Urbanek, who's Associate Athletic Director in charge of football operations, because I don't think the kids get credit for frequent flyer miles, do they?
Well,
on the charters?
1,641. Wheels up Tallahassee to putting them down here in Boulder, nearby Denver. The big charter will be getting in about 8 in the morning. Hawkins, oh, good night. Taken down again. This is Bud Thacker with his first sack of the season for 72.
Sack number 7 on the year for Mickey Andrews' defense. There's an update on those miles. 77, that was my freshman year. That included San Diego State. But this year with the game here in Colorado, the second most miles traveled.
It not only included that big year, the trip to San Diego, but didn't Bowden also go out there to play Arizona State? Did a couple of years later. He made 2 regular season trips out to Arizona State.
We also have a media timeout.
Colorado taking another timeout right here.
Timeout on the field. 12:49 remaining in the game. Hawkins trying to find a way to get that Buff offense rolling.
Taste it, the authentic Italian flavor of Papa John's new Italian Meats Trio Pizza with our fresh hand-tossed dough, 3-cheese blend, zesty Robusto sauce, Italian ham, salami, and spicy Italian sausage. Taste our new Italian Meats Trio Pizza for just $11.99. Call or click papajohns.com and save Papa's Plus to add an order of cheese sticks for just $4 more.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
This week on the best damn sports show, period. Wednesday, the Stray Train Michael Strahan collides with Pro Bowl linebacker Ray Lewis. Thursday, our most astonishing, stunning, and surprising countdown yet.
Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez.
That's awful.
It's the top 50 most shocking moments in sports. Friday, owner of the Mavericks, Mark Cuban, and Denver Nuggets, Allen Iverson. This week at 11.
For 57 years, Eddie Robinson served as head coach for Grambling State University, winning an unprecedented 408 games.
Not only was Eddie Robinson a great coach, but he is also a great man and a great American.
We've joined the Friends of Eddie Robinson Museum to create a landmark that honors and continues his legacy.
Please join us in saluting Coach Robinson by dialing 866-WINS-408 or logging into www.robinsonmuseum.com.
College football on Sun Sports has been brought to you by Checkers, the official burger of the Seminoles. And by your Southern Chevy dealers. Visit Chevy.com to find out why Chevy Silverado is the 2007 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. An athletic legacy here at University of Colorado, a proud member of the Big 12 Conference. Son, Dan Hawkins, as his players were coming to the sideline, trying to be positive here. Take a look at Hubby Bowden coming out west and all the trips that he has made, KJ.
Florida State has enjoyed some fantastic finishes in the Fiesta Bowl, that 98 game. Of course, they lost to Tennessee when Tennessee won the national championship.
Marcus Johnson still had an opportunity filling in for the injured Chris Winkie. Fourth quarter, the defense forces the turnover. Still had an opportunity at the end of the game to beat the Vols. Second down and very long. Hawkins moves the pocket and points and then dumps it incomplete to avoid the sack. Tony Carter was close. The last time, we're starting to get close, that a Nebraska team was shut out was in the, or pardon me, a Colorado team was shut out. Was our very first year of televising the Seminoles on this network, KJ. The Huskers got Colorado all the way back in 1988. They have not been shut out since. Blank at the moment.
Is that kind of like a no-hitter, and you've already mentioned it in the fifth
I
inning?
don't think so. I don't think we have that great an impact on what's taking place down there. I'd like to think so. Hawkins from the 22. Three-man rush. Out of time, he throws, and Robinson's there with the right hand. Had the left on Patrick Williams, no flag in, and Patrick Robinson just knocked it down, the sophomore from Miami.
Well, take a snapshot, because you don't see that very often. In that, a Mickey Andrews defense rushed 3 and dropped 8. Robinson goes right up. And the one thing young defensive backs need to remember is you don't ever want to tip the ball up. You always want to knock the ball down. Mickey there on your right, Jody Allen on your left. Knock the ball to the turf. Don't tip it up where the receiver has an opportunity to catch it.
9 men up. Seminoles are coming. Can't get there. Parker runs up. Disdains the fair catch. He ran into his own man there and stumbled. Went down. Todrick Verdell may have inadvertently tripped Parker.
This is a great playing surface, Paul. We haven't talked about it much. It's called sports grass. Has a biothermal component as well as a sub-air machine. Don't know what that means, but it sounds good.
Are you reading a brochure somewhere?
I wrote it down that way.
Right, let me see that. Try that again one more time.
It's a biothermal design with a sub-air machine.
Wow. It's just not grass, is what you're saying here.
Well, it's grass with help.
Have you noticed if it's a lawn here, you're driving around corporate parks, whatever, parks, they're gorgeous grass here in this climate. Can you get your lawn to do that?
I can't get my lawn to grow.
Florida State may be growing up here. They come out of this with a win. The Noles would be 2-1 through the first 3. The Buffaloes would slip to 1-2. This is a Colorado team that last year only defeated Texas Tech, pretty good win there, and Iowa State. You take a look at Florida State's, they're going to in fact meet Colorado again next year. This was a 2-for-1 deal, KJ, but that will be back in Doak. And then in 2009, headed to Provo, Utah.
And that might end up being Coach Bowden is still around. State number 29. I don't know that he's coached in Utah before.
You saw they had a couple of question marks there. Our producer, Gary Nicholas, reminds us that one time Florida State was close to a neutral site game in Atlanta. I think Ole Miss was in on the mix there.
There is an opportunity for another game in 08 that has not been settled on. And there are a number of scenarios out there, one of which, as you mentioned, playing in Atlanta, possibly against the team from Mississippi.
Let's check in with Tom. You know what the latest is with that, Tommy?
Well, one reason that a game opened up, they were scheduled to play Nevada next year in Tallahassee, and Nevada asked to move that game back, so they're going to come on the schedule several years down the road. That's why there's a hole. But I think there's also been discussions about playing a game, maybe even the Colorado game in the Tampa area as well. So there's been a lot of talk about that, but they're not going to divulge opponents until they have a signed contract.
You're saying the Colorado game next year could go to?
I've heard some rumblings of that. I don't know that for a fact, but they're also, as Keith pointed out, they've talked about playing a neutral site game in Atlanta, trying to find one in Tampa. They have one lined up in Orlando.
Against Air Force?
Yeah, in a few years. So there's obviously an interest in moving some of those games around to help the Seminole fans get out to see their team and to help recruiting and all those type things.
Absolutely. Drew out of the gun, hands, and this is Anton Smith. He's so powerful. This is a guy, KJ, that has a bench press of about 450. Right? This compact Anton Smith, and he hasn't tired one bit.
Well, and I was watching at the quarter break, Florida State's offense, remember, they were down close to the goal line. They sprinted to the other end of the field during that timeout. Colorado was dragging a little bit. If possible, believe it or not, this Florida State team may be in better shape than Colorado.
Well, it has to be harder to work in humidity. And the humidity has been a killer. Well, he spun down 45-yard line and dropped for a 5-yard blast. Ben Burney got to Smith.
And that's one of the things that comes along with Anton, the way they like to use him running laterally and finding creases, that he will take more than his share of tackles for a loss because of the way they allow him to operate with the football. But by the same token, from any spot on the field, as he showed in the first half, he can break one and take it all the way to the end zone.
Do you remember when Barry Sanders was at Oklahoma State, which plays in this league? That's a lot like Barry Sanders was. I'm not saying he's Barry Sanders, or the way he was in Detroit. You'd have no yardage, then a home run. Drew sacked again. The second takedown here of Drew at the 40-yard line. And the sack's made by George Hippolyte. His second of the season.
And we saw Florida State with a sack on Hawkins in the last series that you would categorize as a coverage sack. Give credit to the secondary of the Buffs. That's a credit, a coverage sack credit for them.
Graham Gano will kick for a long time. I promise you, he'll remember this night the rest of his life. Everything he hits is like 50 yards. Flag and whistles, so it's coming back. He had a 54-yarder that tied his career pass.
Cross to the snap, false start, number 7, offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, still forfeit.
And a 50-yarder as well, so a pair tonight. So over to the sideline. The Florida State punting unit. And his kickoff, first kickoff tonight. About went out of the northern end zone right over Ralphie, kept right on going.
I think they took Ralphie home.
Well, no, they brought him out of here at the start of the second half, didn't they? Encore appearance. Look at this. Whoa! And it turns over, hits it the 7-yard line, and it'll be down inside the 10. Graham Gano has had an incredible night. That's the longest kick of his life here for FSU, a 55-yarder with no return. Wow. That thing was beautiful, Keith. Nose up, nose down. Gorgeous.
Another look at the ball. I can't make a wedge stop that fast.
Something else. And Jody Allen up there coaches the defensive ends as well as, we'll remind you, the first time Bowden's ever turned it over. Coordinator duties to one man. Graham Gano from Pensacola and Tate High School. That's a pretty good field goal kicker there. Utah pass, shoveled. Florida State reacted pretty quickly and able to make the stop on Demetrius Sumler. Freshman, the all-time leading ground gainer in the history of Southern California football. Ooh. What a play. How about that? Last possession went the other way for Colorado. Manuel Dunbar on the field for FSU. Tackle position. Odell Higgins, Keith, rotating the men up front. Pressure coming. Hawkins stepped away, threw it away. Nobody close. He got back there to set up and just had to get rid of it. Could have been Paul Griffin applying the pressure. And quickly, just like that, it is third down for Hawkins. We made the point earlier, he's trying to remain positive with this young football team. So many freshmen and sophomores on this offense. Could they be playing about as well as they can tonight? Pretty close to it?
Possibly. He's played 10 freshmen through the first 2 ball games.
And a freshman quarterback. Hawkins unloads. Hey, that's a first down. Upfield at the 22-yard line. Grab made by Patrick Williams in front of J.R. Bryant, and that'll move the stakes as they convert to the Buffaloes on third down.
Another look at the route. Williams, second on this team with 8 catches coming into the night. Just a little corner inside move. Florida State in zone again, keeping everything in front of them.
Hawkins' 23rd completion, close to 200 yards through the air.
Another
and a bad snap. He falls and loses the ball. It's still loose. Did not get on top of it. And here comes the pile.
And I don't know how you do this, but that ball will change possessions 3 or 4 times underneath that pile. I don't know how you would eliminate that from happening, but it does.
Remember the 40-yard safety at Clemson? The punter over his head ran out of the back of the end zone. For a moment, I thought Hawkins might try to do that. But this is the inconsistencies the Buffalo fans are seeing.
That's
from a
all
freshman
youth.
Quarterback.
That's all youth. I'm not sure Hawkins was looking for the ball. The snap was pretty good, but Hawkins was looking to his right. And I think Sanders might have been the one that got back and got on it.
Well, if he snapped it, it went right underneath Hawkins. That had to be a bad feeling. Had to be Sanders pounced on it. So his running back is 5 yards deep in the end zone. Hawkins play action to him, being chased and off the fingertips of Greer. And now it is third down. They're at the 3. They need to get to the 32.
Yeah.
What play is that?
I don't
what play
have
you
that
got?
many digits. I don't have that many digits.
Ask Tom if he's got something in that playbook. Tom, what do you got? What do you call here? Third down and 29. And Florida State's defensive front will be coming. Eli Charles is on the field right now. They're down into the 3s right down the defensive rotation. Guyan is on the field. Straight ahead handoff. Ricardo Wright, his first tackle tonight. Sophomore middle linebacker. The crowd will grumble, but what options do they have?
If any.
You're going to have him stand back there, chuck and duck? Off goes Ricardo from Orlando Dr. Phillips High School. And Parker should field this ball right at midfield, have an opportunity at the return. Matt DeLallo, sophomore, kick it away.
Good kick.
Somewhat short. The ball bounds on the Colorado side of the field and doesn't reach midfield. Be down to marked at the 47-yard line. That is a 41-yard kick.
And there's a little hanky that they're all looking at.
Where's the flag, KJ? Far
Behind
side
the
of the
football right now.
All the way on the somewhere
Behind
where?
the football.
Show me where
right
it
there,
is.
see?
Oh, there it
came
is.
Up. Right there.
There you go. I saw it. The Eagle Eyes of Keith Jones. Our producer tonight, Gary Nicholas. Our director, Bill Moore. Bob Hewitt joins our telecast team, providing the graphics this evening. Bob joining us from Miami. He's a part of the Miami Heat telecast here on
He
Sun
came
Sports.
a long ways.
So they got Shaq, they got Dwayne Wade, and they got Bob Hewitt.
But not
all
necessarily in that order.
All
of
in
importance.
Brian Adair has made the trip as well on our telecast team.
BA's down there on the sideline somewhere with a camera.
And Chuck Stewart with the audio. Our whole crew. Greg Hussman is our technical director tonight. From all of us, great to be with you here from Boulder.
Illegal participation. Is that what that is?
And overcomes, you're right, and overcomes Ron Cherry. And Dan Hawkins
If I'm
saying,
Florida State, I decline
explain this to me, please.
I don't know.
You want to go kick this again? If I'm Florida State,
I'd take the play.
I take the play because you're on the Colorado side of the field. You own the football. There's 7 minutes and 17 seconds remaining.
Yeah, we want the ball. We want the ball right there.
Right, whatever
right
you do, give it to
we
him.
want the
You
ball
see
right
Lawrence
there.
Dawsey over there, member of the Fab Four. You don't play close to 10 years of professional football and accomplish all he had without being smart. We'll take the play. It may be a mandatory situation that they got to take it back. And that's what he's trying to determine. Odell Higgins, another legacy Seminole, coaches the interior defensive lineman. We want the play. Do we have the spot? I can't give you the spot.
Illegal batting.
You're
Just
the
to take
touch.
a team, the penalty is declined. First down.
The other way, Ron. The other way,
They're
Ron.
in.
Thank you.
Had a 50-50 shot. Our thanks to the Director of Athletics, Mike Bond, for his hospitality. Dave Plotty, the Sports Information Director here, and does a terrific job.
He's organized. I know that.
Dave Hart is the AD at Florida State on the trip. Tina Thomas, Elliot Feinblum, Mike Smoose. Our thanks to them, all their help for making primetime Knowles possible. Could have get it done, could not get it done without that staff. So Rob Wilson for tonight too, Assistant Athletic Director. FSU drew a third time. He was sacked 5 times at Clemson. Not taken out last week. They've gotten him 3 times here tonight. You got to give credit to the secondary on this Hippolyte sound.
Well, Drew has got to get the ball out of there. And that's one of the things that Jimbo will talk to him about, I can assure you. You've got to get the ball out of there. You can't just keep holding it.
Shannon Boatman, big lineman, the senior, Beaumont, Texas, shake it up. He will come off. Rodney Hudson will be on, FSU, along with Jackie Claude. So again, Keith, if you're going to go back and critique the outset of this game, the first quarter was an issue. Florida State overcame that issue. And although there hasn't been a lot of points scored, it's been a dominating effort on the part of FSU's defense, right?
From the defensive perspective, I think they played very, very well. Still a lot to do offensively.
First carry for Jamal Edwards. There goes Jamal. And a flag in, 40 yards away from the play, thrown away from contact in the direction of Wheatley and tall Greg Carr. It's a gain of 13 yards. First tote by Edwards. So it could have been those two away from the ball that got into it.
A little bit of breeze there at the grass
flag,
level.
yeah. Coming off the Rockies. The flat irons back there.
Don't look flat to me.
Block below. Crack back. Go block.
And an illegal block, 89 offense. We'll replay the down.
That is Greg Carr, of course. And the illegal block is low.
Blocking below the waist.
8 penalties tonight on Jimbo's football team for 60 yards.
After the penalty,
but it's been smoother, has it not? Just the execution of this?
It's been improved. But again, repeating myself, a lot still to do.
27 yards for a first down. That's what they need. Jamal again. Jamal went like 3 years with 8 carries, and then last week got 10. What was going on with that?
It was career high carries for both Antone before he went out, as well as Jamal, and with Sim.
How about that? 12 in all. That was great for him. And here's a guy through all those years of not touching the ball and being out and redshirted and didn't carry the ball once last year. Never said a word. Just contributed. And Jimbo said, I found out we had something there in Jamal Edwards.
You think this is prevent?
There goes Jamal. Out across the 40 to the 41-yard line.
What our viewers have, 3 black jerseys in their frame. Everybody else was 20 yards deep.
Hippolyte with another stop. He'll be in double digits. Colorado. And now the Buffaloes begin to realize that if nothing else, they have to get points on the board or that 20-year run comes to an end of not being shut out. One of the longest runs in college football. Ranks them 3rd. Division I play. Graham Gano might be the ACC Special Teams Player of the Week. He has 3 of better than 50 yards. You saw his career best 55. Hangs this one to the 18-yard line. And the return is up to the 28 on a kick of conservatively just 42 this time, KJ Robinson.
He must be tired.
On the return.
He must be tired.
That's a little bit of wind in his face. He only hit it 42. Dakota Watson on the special team stop. Way to go, Graham Gano.
Marlins baseball is in full swing on FSN Florida. Miguel Cabrera leads the Marlins against the Atlanta Braves. Marlins Braves tonight at 6:30 on FSN Florida.
Good things happen when you open a SunTrust checking account. You get more than great checking. You get a chance to help the community. For a limited time, just open a SunTrust checking account, accept and make a purchase with your new check card, and we'll donate $100 in your name to the charity of your choice. Or you can get a $50 gift card to keep for your own cause. So, how will you help your community? Visit your local SunTrust branch today.
At most places, $10 doesn't go far. But at Sonny's, we think it should. Introducing the Big 3-courser, just $9.99. The beginning, soup of the day or tossed salad. The middle, Sonny's sliced or pulled pork, catfish, charbroiled or barbecue chicken, chicken tenders, smoked turkey, or beef brisket. Or choose one of Sonny's 10 big salads. And the end, fruit cobbler or banana pudding. That's Sonny's Big 3-courser, just $9.99. Better come hungry.
Remember, overwatering your lawn is a no-no. For more water conservation tips, visit ouc.com.
The best network of flights to Mexico and the service that makes you feel at home even before you get there. Nobody knows Mexico like Mexicana.
Sports Science, only on FSN.
For 57 years, Eddie Robinson served as head coach for Grambling State University, winning an unprecedented 408 games.
Not only was Eddie Robinson a great coach, but he is also a great man and a great American.
We've joined the Friends of Eddie Robinson Museum to create a landmark that honors and continues his legacy.
Please join us in saluting Coach Robinson by dialing 866-WINS-408 or logging into www.robinsonmuseum.com.
The FSN final score tonight.
Marlins baseball is in full swing on FSN Florida. Miguel Cabrera leads the Marlins against the Atlanta Braves. Marlins Braves tonight at 6:30 on FSN Florida.
Welcome back, 16-zip Florida State, as we're back in Boulder here at the University of Colorado. We found an all-time Seminole great as we bring you back. This is Ken Lanier, who starred for Florida State in the late 1970s. Ken, talk a little bit, I guess, about what it was like helping build the Florida State program when you arrived in Tallahassee in Bobby's early years.
It was a great thing. You know, we came in and nobody respected us. We got to walk in places like this, Nebraska, and, you know, we did our thing. You know, it looks like guys are having a good day today, or good night, actually. It's in the AM for Florida, but, you know, they're doing a good job.
Obviously, a new coaching staff. They're making a lot of changes on offense. You probably watch the game differently than a lot of folks since you played offensive tackle for so many years. Your thoughts on the offensive line tonight for FSU?
Yeah, it looks like they're doing a good job. You know, they're giving the quarterback some time. You know, there's always room for improvement, but, you know, under the circumstances, they're doing a good job.
What do you remember most, maybe a lesson that you learned when you were at Florida State during your playing days that you've carried with you since then?
Never give up. You know, you always keep plugging away. You know, never think that you have the game won. You just keep going at it and make sure that you close out everything and make sure that the door's closed so they can't come back in.
I should mention, by the way, this guy was John Elway's best friend for about 14 years. This is protection on the offensive line. That must have been a thrill for you all those years with Denver.
Yeah, you know, it was good for me. It was a good experience. You know, we make our home out here. I have 2 sons and a daughter. One of them's at Florida A&M. One's in Vegas, and the other one's back here.
Well, it's great to see you. And by the way, the son that's at Florida A&M is 6'6", 330, and he's a lineman there at FAMU, so I guess it's in the blood.
Yeah, he's a right tackle, and he's doing well. Proud of him.
All right, we're glad you're doing well. Good to see you, Ken.
All right, thank you.
All right, Ken Lanier, one of Keith Jones' teammates, Paul, back in the day.
Played all 4 years with Kenny. He was phenomenal.
The far side, the catch made at the 35-yard line. Reuben Carter really must have a talent there. And Ken's son, this is Scotty McKnight. Scotty McKnight, Keith, in game 1, the opener across town at Invesco Field, Mile High, in that overtime victory over Colorado State. It was his very first game. He caught more passes for more yards than any other freshman had in his debut in Colorado history. Been some freshmen.
A lot of freshmen contributing. Have you noticed?
Yeah, 106 yards. So and they have not been awful. They have moved the ball. Hawkins here. He has talent at the 48-yard line, right in front of Jamie Robinson. And the diving grab again by Scotty McKnight. Now here's a combination. Hawkins and McKnight are going to play together, presumably for 4 years. This is their 3rd game.
Reminds me of Sullivan to Beasley.
Yeah, at Auburn. Sure does. Pat Sullivan, Terry Beasley. For sure, Jordan. Batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Florida State with some personnel issues. I believe they had 12 on the field. Recall, an offensive series, they had only 10. This time I think they were trying to play with 12.
Got him up here.
One sprinted off, but he was late.
Got 11 at the moment. And the rotations in the interior as well as the secondary, pretty thorough. There you go, substitution infraction. And there is Mickey, very gamely.
Illegal substitution, defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Replay the down.
This was not easy for Mickey, was it? This week, what he's endured and then getting out here.
I mean, pneumonia just absolutely saps your energy. You just can't move.
Mickey watching from the box for the first time, as Tom was telling us, since he coached the USFL. A block on Robinson. A late hit. And the flags are out. Dead ball, personal foul, 15 more. And now the scoreboard, time remaining, and this personal foul.
Personal foul. Number 3, defense.
Myron Roll.
15 yards.
Yeah, it wasn't Roll.
Run. Automatic first down.
I didn't think it was Roll that made
Roll.
the hit.
It was another one.
But now Colorado getting closer to being able to put points on the board. Check and see if it's not LaTroy Guy on number 93.
I believe it's number 93 right there.
Yeah. Colorado at the 27-yard line. Trailing 16-0. Hawkins fires. And the catch made by McKnight. Came back to the ball. I think he surprised Patrick Robinson.
Well, McKnight will remind you a lot of Steve Largent. Remember Largent played all those years in Seattle from Oklahoma? He just has an ability to get himself open, and then anything that's near him, he's going to catch. This ball is thrown behind, but not a jump ball behind. It's just thrown behind him. And he adjusts, comes back, looks the ball in, steps out of bounds. Thank you very much.
First down at the 11. Colorado, of course, can earn another. As you see the stakes closer to the 12. They reach the 2. Unconventional formation is offset I. Hawkins for the end zone throws, and it's incomplete. Tony Carter was beaten on the play, and the pass off the fingertips of Tyson DeVaney. Or DeVray, pardon me.
He had his hands on it, did DeVray. Good delivery by Hawkins. Right there, and cannot come down with it.
Second down. Good, his coach is talking about 2 thumbs in.
Thumbs in, thumbs together.
Coach, it's not easy out there. The gun, the blitz on, they throw the, that's nearly intercepted. The, nearly picked up by Nicholson trying to throw the short screen, a little bubble here. Nicholson was waiting on it. Had a sensational game as Derek Nicholson. Double-digit tackles, nearly that pick. .350 remaining. All that stands between Florida State and what could have been a very dangerous, was a very dangerous game for the Noles to play out of here in the Rockies. Still early in this season at new staff. Hawkins, short drop, throws to the near side, incomplete. Intended for Williams. And it's 4th down. You are not going to kick a field goal here, are you, to put points on the board with 3:45 showing? No, they're not going to go for it. There's no way you're going to trot out your field goal kicker. He's 0 for 2 tonight.
I don't.
Just to salvage 3 on the board.
I don't think so.
Well, the Seminole faithful behind that Florida State D in the end zone trying to implore the troops to hang on to this shutout. Can Hawkins score on 4th down? For the end zone, he throws, and Colorado is on the board. Tyson DeVray in the back of the end zone on 4th down.
Yes, I think Truck is asking, do you go for 2? Do you go for 2? Yes, you go for 2.
16-6 to make it a 1-possession game at 16-8 with 3:39 to play. And suddenly this game still has life. Colorado back in this game if they can convert here. 4-2. Cody throws too high. Out of the back of the end zone, Patrick Williams along the end line was his intended target. And with 3:39 remaining, Dan Hawkins applauds the effort of his team at least to put 6 on the board. Cody Hawkins fires his 4th touchdown as a Buffalo.
Well, you definitely set up for the onside kick. I believe Florida State has what they refer to as their hands group. And that pumpkin is not round, and it can bounce real funny.
It's oblong. That's what makes it fun, KJ.
Of course, I'm the only guy you know that can dribble a basketball and make it look like I'm trying to dribble a football.
Dribble a football. 8 plays, 71 yards, just under a minute off the clock, although it seemed much longer for Colorado to put its first touchdown together. 20 of those yards, 20 of the 71 came on penalties, however, and the big hit against Latroy Guyan out of bounds. Does that open up the door here for Colorado? Everhart, the senior from Denver, has played the last 2 years behind an All-American at Mason Crosby, who is kicking now for the Packers. Kicked that field goal to win it against Philadelphia. Boots here the onside kick. Richard Goodman.
That is a great kick.
Able to pick up the bounding ball, field it, and go down with it.
You know, the kickers that are able to execute it, the ball hits once, hits twice, and then bounds high into the air. Now, whoever figured out how to do that, I'm not sure. 1, 2, up in the air.
Covers 10, it's a free ball, and look how close Colorado came to recovering this. Split second as the ball arrived to Goodman. So Florida State now loads it up. 2 tight ends and an I formation. Cedric Holloway is the fullback in front of Anton Smith. Carried by Smith. Got a breather in the previous series. Jamal Edwards taking over. Saving him here for the knockout. 3.5 to play.
Remind you that Colorado only has 1 timeout remaining. They'll take it right now.
And they are officially out of timeouts. Rick Trickett's offensive line. As he looks on, there's all this talk about Jimbo, the job that he has done, making that offensive line a little leaner, certainly, much like the Denver Broncos have played for years with leaner offensive linemen, dropping poundage, what, close to 200 pounds collectively off the starting five.
Well, that plus trying to put the right players in the right position. The 5 that started against Clemson had never started in that position before. You know, even with someone like Overmeyer, you know, he's been moved out to tackle. He's played guard the bulk of his time at Florida State.
Rodney Hudson, the freshman guard, in his first college game starts. Ryan McMahon, freshman center, on the distance tonight. See the huddle, and there's Dobby, the transfer from West Point, in at tight end. Josh Dobby. Frady sets up on the wing. They'll run it his way. Behind Frady's blocking. Big goes Jamal Edwards. Edwards for the end zone. A penalty marker down. And Edwards dives for the pylon and is ruled just out of bounds to the 1-inch line.
Great effort by Jamal, but it'll be for naught.
And the penalty marker at the original line of scrimmage. And it's coming back this way. Holding against Florida State.
And whoever this is on does not want to talk to that man right there.
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Holding offense number 79. 10 yards. Replay the deal.
David Overmeyer, and he coaches with a drill sergeant's tenacity on the practice field. That's David Overmeyer, flagged on the hold.
And David might want to be looking into alternate transportation back to Tallahassee.
Here's Rick Trickett. His first season following 6 years with Rich Rodriguez in West Virginia, and didn't West Virginia look good Thursday night in Byrd Stadium against the University of Maryland. Jamal Edwards came ever so close to his first career touchdown there. Play that was brought back. Brandon Nicholas on the stop, and the clock rolls. Under 3 minutes to go, and Colorado can no longer stop the clock.
Well, this will bring up 3rd down. Florida State, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16.
Well, how do you play this? You're going to throw the ball, you're going to run the ball. That's your defense. Come on the field, you're going to run the ball. They block it. Colorado defends it. It's a pickup of just 2 coming to the near side. Anton on the carry. Nicholas again puts his helmet in there. Another hit on the tackle. Some tired bodies out there getting off the pile with 2:20 to play and counting.
given what Gano's been able to accomplish, if I'm Florida State, I might even let this play clock run all the way down.
Terrence Wheatley just now getting to his feet. Colorado's outstanding defensive back, and Trainer came on. It looks like he's going to be able to walk off under his own power. The senior from Richardson, Texas. Dallas way. Here comes Gano. And the punting unit on.
Number 1, Stephon Robinson.
Stephon Robinson, the senior from Denver, stands at the 7-yard line. And Florida State will take the 5.
No, they'll take a timeout.
Timeout on the field.
You're right.
Florida State.
That'll be its second with 1 remaining. 1:43 to go. So Florida State here, Keith, how do you play this in the final 1:43? The Buffs would have to score twice. They need 2 possessions in this game.
Well, you play prevent, obviously, and you make Colorado drive the football. Keep everything in front of you.
Only touchdown for Florida State in this game. Didn't come through the air for Drew Weatherford, but rather a steak and shake play of the game. The check by Drew and the handoff to Anton Smith.
Well, Anton gets the touchdown. Drew Weatherford also should receive credit.
Graham Gano just kicks this out of the back of the end zone. That'll be spotted at the 20-yard line. It's a 53-yard kick, so that would be 3 kicks, make that 4 of better than 50 yards for Graham Gano tonight. Even Christian Ponder, the wry smile. You had it all going on. So out the ability to stop the clock, having exhausted all 3 timeouts, 80 yards away. The Colorado Buffaloes need help from Florida State's defense, and it's been a defense that's played pretty darn well tonight.
I think Mickey will be disappointed in that last drive that Colorado scored on, given the defensive penalties that assisted it.
Florida State rushes 3, drops 8. Hawkins throws upfield across the 30, 35, first down, but he stayed in bounds to Tyson DeVray, who caught the earlier touchdown pass. Myron Roll whacked him down.
Well, the clock will stop while they move the chains, and then it will restart once the ball has been placed in play.
To the 35. Hawkins again to the near side and behind his intended target in McKnight. Patrick Robinson put a mid on it. Clock stopped with 1:17 showing. There is a wealth of talent. Young for Colorado. They have to step into a Big 12 schedule, though, KJ. Miami of Ohio will come a-calling next week. A Miami of Ohio team that fell to Cincinnati earlier today. And then it's Oklahoma here to be followed by Baylor, Kansas State, Kansas, Texas Tech. Toward the end of the year, there sits Nebraska. Hawkins, the shovel ahead, and there's Geno Hayes right there to level Byron Ellis.
Geno had a good night tonight as well.
Number 10. Number 10 in the trophy case, of course, for Derek Brooks. Brooks looking on would have to be very proud of the way that Geno's playing. Hawkins throws deep, and that is a incomplete pass. Nearly a catch at the 46. Carter bouncing Dusty Sprague out of bounds. Didn't come down with it. I think they'd review this play.
Well, both officials ruled it out of bounds, but the buff vision is going to get the folks excited, I think.
And then Hawkins, it will be reviewed upstairs, you would think. Just about every play is. And there comes the indication that the umpire is being buzzed from above, and this play is under review.
The previous play is under review.
Now from midfield with McKnight, DeVray, and a speedster like Josh Smith, the wind at his back, Cody Hawkins could take another slice out of Folsom Field and still leave some time on the clock. Here's our best look at it, Keith.
The first question is, did he retain possession? And then would he have come down in bounds if he had not been knocked out of bounds? First of all, his foot came down. That'll be a call that should be reversed. That's a catch.
So Colorado will own the football in Florida State territory. That would be a 21-yard completion if the call is overturned. On video review, there are 3 rulings that Ron Cherry can make. First, the play stands at call. Second, the ruling on the field is confirmed, or in this case,
right there,
it's overturned. It's a great catch by Dusty Spray. Sounds like a name from the Wild West, doesn't it?
Or either that or a very good singer in the 60s.
Be Dusty Springfield.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
So this, the ruling on the field clearly should be reversed. Ron Cherry.
After review, the ruling on the field has been reversed. We have a completion. The ball will be placed on the 47-yard line. The scoreboard, the time on the clock is correct.
Colorado has 47 seconds, and there's a buzz in the remaining crowd here at Folsom Field and on that sideline. Dan Hawkins' son is tonight thrown for 250 yards, completed 31 passes, connected once for a touchdown.
265, an updated yardage, Paul. That's a great night for the freshman.
3-man rush. Hawkins throws the crossing route, and he did not pick up the first down. So he'll have to spike the ball. Crawford made the grab, the junior from San Diego. Taken away. Hawkins, Packer looked to be held. That's a first down that'll stop the clock at the 20-yard line with 21 ticks remaining.
Now you go out of prevent, get back in your regular defense.
Tyson DeVray had a big night as DeVray. It's his 3rd catch to go with the touchdown and the spike here with 18 ticks remaining.
Why is this happening? Florida State took a timeout.
Timeout on the field. Florida State, please reset the game clock to 20 seconds. This is a 30-second timeout.
Well, Chuck Amata, Mickey Andrews upstairs have elected to call timeout for Bobby Bowden, and the defense comes to the sideline. And that's backup quarterback Nick Nelson talking to Cody Hawkins across the field. The Noles with instructions from the defensive staff.
Well, I can assure you with this drive, Mickey will not be happy with his defensive performance here in the 4th quarter.
Tanner's been side by side with Bobby Bowden for 24 years, close to a quarter of a century. 1984, Mickey Andrews.
Yeah. Well, we got a little pause here, Paul. Remember the Forrest Gump movie?
Yeah.
Remember Forrest played for the University of Alabama?
Yeah. Coach Bryant wore number 44.
1963?
Yep.
What number was Mickey in 1963 at
44
Alabama?
for Bear Bryant. Kick a man when he's down, won't you? Run, Forrest, run. Blitz coming. Hawkins throws incomplete. Very nearly caught. What would have been a game tightening touchdown by DeVray. Big target, that 6'5" senior.
And that's just one. They've got 2 or 3 more opportunities here.
Right there, he hit him right between the 8 and the 4, did he not? Did Robinson get his hand in there?
Might have. Certainly catch a ball.
That was the 52nd pass thrown tonight by Hockey. 2 weeks, over 100 passing attempts. Sets up, goes to the far side, and the grab is made at the 6-yard line.
And guess who?
It's McKnight tonight from Costa de Casa, California. 9 seconds to go. And the spike with 7 to play. Well, Florida State's going to win this game, but Colorado was on the verge with 3.5 minutes to go on the clock officially of being shut out for the first time in 20 years. And here they get a score on the board here, and this is a 13, 16, 14 football game. Looks far different tomorrow morning in the papers, or this morning, if you're in Florida.
And it's also a game that Dan Hawkins and his staff and his players and everybody associated with this Colorado program can view, though it is a loss and though it will drop them below 500. His team didn't quit. They didn't give up.
Okay. Number 7, offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Finish your thought, KJ.
Well, it's something that you can look at. Even though it is a loss, it's something that you can take with a young squad and build upon.
His offensive coordinator, speaking of young, Mark Helfrich. We haven't talked about him tonight much. Upstairs in the booth, he's only 33 years of age. And in all the BCS,
I got shoes that old.
There's only one offensive coordinator younger, and we will see him when Alabama comes to Jacksonville, and that's Mr. Applewhite. So everybody's young, including the coaches and this freshman quarterback Hawkins, who throws, and Carter has his second interception. And this game is, for all intents and purposes, over. 2 interceptions by Tony Carter on a night in which his position coach and the defensive coordinator in Mickey Andrews makes that grueling trip from Tallahassee, ill as he was. Somewhat fitting.
Well, Tony thought about taking this ball out. Watch him, right? Okay.
There you go. Tony Carter came in with 3 career interceptions. Mickey, this one's in the bag. He heads to the elevator.
Along with his notes.
Carter with his 5th career interception for the junior from Jacksonville, where Florida State will next play.
The final score.
The final gun, this one's over. Bobby Bowden comes to Folsom Field. Florida State does too for the first time in school history and posts its 2nd victory of the year. 16-6, your final FSU over Colorado.
Not terribly pretty, didn't look terribly good. But as they say, a win is a win, particularly one when you're away from home.
For the winningest coach, major college history for Bobby, career win number 368. That's important for Joe Paul won today. While Bobby beats the Buffaloes, Joe Paul beat Buffalo.
As in University of.
Coincidence? Perhaps. So Bobby has a good one here tonight, 16-6. And so much for the rarefied air. Graham Gano liked it. Bobby said at the outset, we'll breathe what they give us. And now he's breathing easy, having put this victory in the bank to go 2-1 on the season. Tom Block is down there somewhere in that mass of fans and players. Let's join him.
Congratulations on the win, Bobby. You said at halftime you didn't know what to do. Your team had the lead. Obviously, it wasn't the sharpest performance from your offense, but you were able to come on the road and get the lead and hold it.
Yeah, they did a great job of throwing and catching the football, and then we couldn't get anything going there at the end. Well, you get a touchdown, had darn thing called back.
The problems in the red zone tonight. Your one touchdown was a long run from Anton Smith, but it seems you moved the ball a little bit, but then when you got inside the 20, you really had trouble offensively.
Yeah, I'll have to look at our film, see what the problem was.
The special teams tonight, Graham Gano punted very well. Preston Parker seems to really have a knack for returning punts, and Sis Macy was perfect on field goals.
Yeah, we won the kicking game, no doubt about it. They missed a couple of field goals. We got all of ours, so we won the kicking game.
You've got an open week now, Bobby. I mean, through 3 games, a quarter of the season, can you assess how the offense and the team is progressing right now?
I think we got a long way to go with both of them.
How will your team handle this open week with 2 weeks from as we speak till you play your next game?
Right now, I'm not sure whether we'll work Monday or work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but we'll decide what we're going to do about it.
Going back to the play Anton scored on, it seemed like an audible from Drew.
I think it was.
Anton obviously seemed to be fine tonight after the concussion last week.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, buddy.
Paul?
KJ, for your former head coach and Bobby Bowden, a hard-fought win.
Very hard-fought, not pretty, but a win is a win, particularly when you're away from home. And I think, as Coach Bowden said, they can take this off week, continue to work and improve on some things. There's a lot left to do in this very young 2007 season.
Hope you enjoyed it. We did. For Keith Jones, Tom Block, I'm Paul Kennedy. 16-6, our final. This has been a special presentation of Sun Sports. Join us Monday for Tailgate Overtime, presented by AT&T.